want to just be like,
what's up, everybody? This is Relatable. We live. They not ready, but we ready.
Get to it.
We got Lucc in the building. We got Dr. Joy in the building.
Yes.
She's here spreading joy, love, and happiness and wisdom and blessing us with her presence. And we just want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
It's
you.
been so good already. We just getting started.
For sure.
I'm already
just
feeling
getting
it.
started, and the connections in this household are bananas. Just like how we're meeting each other and our spiritually and friends and past and history, and it's just a lovely thing. And it's just like we were talking, mind-boggling. You know what I mean? Like how if you pay attention to the breadcrumbs that are dropped, and how we're all connected, it's almost like the damn stars. But
is it almost, or is it exactly?
right. Are they aligning or not?
Is it not that it's all created by the same God? Or
right. It's pretty much. And so I just want to let's introduce you to the people. Let's give a little bit of a background or a little history on you, Joy, and where you come from and what you got going on.
Ooh.
Because I always say, let me just start. So
yeah, you tell me because I don't even know.
But my version is a very short version of
go.
So there's a title thing I do, and then there's like an amazing description of how I always say Joy being my friend, right?
Okay.
Because the friend being to me the most important part.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And then everything else is like achievements and accolades and stuff like that. So I always say, Doctor. When I told him I have a friend, Dr. Joy, who is the professional for the things we are talking about.
Yes,
we talking about relationships. Me and him are both married, loyal, faithful Black men.
Yes,
and
shout out to y'all.
we did. Thank you. And we deal with a lot of real issues about beholding ourselves accountable.
Absolutely.
Where our flaws and mistakes are, a lot of things we learned, what makes us better as husbands, and we're still always doing the work to be better as husbands, right? And then, so we get into a lot of conversation with that. And we were sitting having a conversation one day about how a lot of things we talk about being married, being husbands, and, learning our partner every day, right? Every day we're growing, every day we're changing. And we thought that, we can give our opinion on things and we talk about it, it's cool. And then the people in the chat, they respect our opinions and they laugh with us, joke with us too. But also, we also want to get a professional.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was telling him I have a friend named Dr. Joy who is a professional.
Because we're far from it.
We're far from it. Yeah. We literally throwing shit at the wall. Like, that's cool.
Hey, right. Every time I'm like, wait.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
I don't know. We got to look it up.
I don't know, but let's go with it, right? Right. So it's like you tell the chat, take it with a grain of salt, but cool. No, but I have a friend named Dr. Joy. She's a therapist. She does family and
marriage and family therapy.
And she's also an amazing person. I get into like the laughs, the jokes, and the swimming and the athletics and all these things.
I love it.
And I'm just glad to have you here today so we can flush out some of the things we be talking about. I'm pretty sure we're going to, our chat knows also, we, like I said, we dip into comedy and real stuff all the time. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're going to also have some amazing questions for some of the things we talk about today.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad to have you here, man. It's so cool.
Yeah. You know how it is. As soon as I saw the text come through, I'm like, we going to make it work.
Love.
Yeah. Because I'm grateful to be here, and I always know that whatever we do is going to plant a seed. It's going to plant a seed in one or both of our lives, in a way that's going to produce a harvest. So I'm always down for that ride, for sure. So
dope.
Again, grateful to be here. Thank you for having me as well.
Of course.
The connection, all of that is happening. I appreciate you reflecting back to me how you would introduce me. I always have whenever we've done several different things, and I'm always like, I don't know what to say. What I've settled on is
that happens.
That does. Sometimes that does.
What is it? Oh, headphones. I'm good.
What I have settled on in this season of my life is that I love people for a living.
I love people for a living.
That's
because
good.
If I try to capture all the ways in which I do that in the name of running down a list of my professional experiences and expertise, we'll be here.
For sure.
Because really, at the core of it is, how can I love people today And if that shows up as therapy, if that shows up as designing curriculum, if that shows up as recording a podcast, if that shows up as having an intimate conversation with a stranger, if that shows up as
just a hand on the shoulder, maybe
whatever, however
yeah.
it shows up in the ways that I do. Recently, it's been showing up as writing. It's also showing up in me as doing much more creative things. Like at the core of all of it, and the thread that's connecting all of it is that I love people for a living. And so when people are like, well, what do you do? I'm like, you tell me, because whatever you feel when I'm around you, that's what I do.
That's what I do.
I can be of service.
And the thing is, here's what I also want to own inside of that. Because I really mean that when I say whatever you feel when I'm around you, that's what I do. So even if you feel whatever you feel, even if you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I am what I bring.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Because I'm reflecting back what's already with you.
That's the kind of like, please don't get it twisted, right?
That's what I do. So whatever you
right.
feel. So I'm not just like the goodness, which I appreciate that you reflect back all of those things, right? Because it does affirm what I would like to believe about who I am. But I also recognize that there are people out there who are going to have an experience of me that is not those things. And it's still what I do.
For sure.
I don't get to disown that and disconnect myself from that. Because I understand it has really nothing to do with me. I'm just being the mirror.
And a lot of the things we are is how we react to things.
Which is why I'm saying I'm just being the mirror. So whatever you feel when I'm around, that's what I do.
That's fire.
I'm just being the mirror. And that is so funny because I got a homeboy Keem who's been saying that. Like if you feel a certain kind of way, that's you just seeing your reflection.
Correct.
That's you.
And then when I'm feeling away, that's me seeing mine. And because I can own that, I want to let you have your opportunity to own your stuff. Because you can't fix what you don't own. If you don't acknowledge it, if you don't see it, if we're all talking about healing, being better, whatever we're out here on the quest to do, every opportunity and encounter is an invitation for you to see yourself and then decide if you like what you see and then what you're going to do about it if you don't.
That's
And I can't own that or be responsible for that. And I certainly don't want to deny you that because I'm too busy trying to make you comfortable. So now I'm tap dancing, not showing you what you could really see.
You know what's dope about that? That is that, first of all, you're spot on. You're spot. Here's the thing.
Boom.
First of all,
you're spot on. And here's the thing about holding myself accountable.
Yeah.
You're spot on with how I would like to be most of the time.
Yeah, wow.
But what happens is, like, I could see myself in a moment or know things that to be what they are and still choose the violence on the other side of
100%. Ice, what do you mean?
Right.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
What do you actually mean? I had to get called out this morning for that. You know better. But you still out here.
You know better. I'm
What do you
still like,
mean?
ooh, but I got to get this off.
I gotta get this
off. Immediately. And then you know what?
That takes work.
100%. It takes. Let me say also this. It takes
and
work.
a life journey, life work. It's not even like a
acknowledgement.
But here's what I really want. This is the season I'm in. It takes work, and I think we're all in this room because we have committed to doing that.
For sure.
And the work requires us to be in this room. Meaning, the work is community, being together. I can't see myself without my mirrors.
Right. Yeah,
So it takes work.
That's good.
But don't think you got to go off into some dark corner. Although sometimes you do got to go to the wilderness, and that's a whole other. We could talk about that.
Sure.
But it takes work, and the work. I always say, people. If we talk about relationships, people always say one of the myths that I hear all the time: relationships take work. They don't.
Okay. We got to deal with this.
Listen.
We gotta deal with
Settle,
this right
everybody
now.
settle in. I'm gonna hold your hand. Yeah. No, I'm like, everybody settle in.
Right.
Let's
I
go.
can see me misinterpreting this.
No, they're not gonna. They're only gonna.
Joy said, I ain't got to do nothing today.
Right. And so let me hear you. Let me say this.
No.
They will misinterpret it
For
if they stop it before I say what I'm about to say.
Right, for sure.
Right. So listen. Relationships don't take work. People take work. And your relationship shows you what your work is.
A reflection of how.
Hey, she breaks it down in such a like,
that's fire.
If people
because
take work,
it's
not
kind
the
of
relationship.
So
because the relationship doesn't exist without me and you.
Right.
If you get up and walk out of here, we're no longer.
There's no.
You're not here,
Dude. It's almost like people talking about. I'm making maybe kind of loosely based comparison. Where people say money's the root of all evil, and then my mama always told me, no, money doesn't do nothing but it's a piece of paper.
That's also a misquote.
It's all
the
on
love
the
of
love
money.
of money.
That is the root of all evil.
So I'm kind of looking at how you look at relationships.
We have to understand. It's always our relationship to the thing that causes our reaction to the thing.
Because
let's say that one more time.
Oh, that's fire.
It's always our relationship to the thing that informs our reaction to the thing.
It's always our relation to the thing that forms our reaction to the thing.
That's always so. It's always, what is my relationship to this moment, to this truth that is being dropped right now that I might be resistant to hear for whatever the reasons.
Yeah.
What is my relationship to all of this, and how is that informing the way I'm reacting to it right now? Whether I'm squirming in my seat because I'm feeling convicted, whether I'm settling in because I'm feeling confirmed, whether I'm curious because I'm like, I ain't never heard it like that. Whatever your reaction to this moment is, that is informed by your relationship to this. So if you disagree with it, then you're going to have a certain reaction. Right. If it is landing as true for you, you're going to have a certain reaction to it. If it's inviting you to a new perspective, you're going to have a certain reaction to it. But that's about your relationship to what is happening, not to what I'm actually saying. That's about your relationship to what I'm saying.
So here,
like simple form of that, it's more about you than it is me.
Correct. Which is why, again, I said, what am I? The mirror.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when I say this is what I do, I'm telling you, I'm the mirror. That's what I do.
So essentially,
your issue ain't with me.
Correct.
Your issue is with you.
And with you saying that, I'm getting kind of like this. It's like that just tells me if we all do the work within ourselves, right, and really, really do the work and constantly do the work, right? You're always involved in changing. Then any two people can essentially have a relationship.
Correct.
I'm not saying what that relationship needs to be, but there are many forms of different relationships that we are having in this time here in this world, right?
Yeah.
But if the work is done, any two people can vibe. You know how people just say like, I'll vibe with him or I'll vibe with her. There's something there within both of y'all that is making that happen. It's not just people are quick to blame energy. Which for most that don't never explore what that is, they have no definition of energy. Right? This is what I'm saying. It's a common phrase a lot of people use. Now I understand.
It's how I feel. Whatever I feel in that moment, I like that energy.
Basically, it's a ground an umbrella term for whatever that is, right? But if two people have done for example, it's like me doing Uber and I get the racist passenger, right, and a black man and a racist white passenger may not be able to operate in the same space. But the adjustments I make when I have done Uber, I'm way more comfortable than the average person, average black man would be outside of that car with him. Because I understand that it's not about me, it's his ignorance.
Correct.
Which is me acknowledging that that's the work he hasn't done. Whatever he takes on and tacked on.
So that is now your current relationship with the idea of racism.
Exactly.
That maybe wasn't always your relationship to that.
For sure.
So if you came across that person in a different version of you, your reaction would be different because your relationship to that idea was different.
And the reason
that is so dope.
It's fine. Because that's the reason I wouldn't engage negatively or aggressively, because I understand that that's just a part of.
Correct.
That's something that's on him, not necessarily in him. I can't really say in him.
But I don't know what it is with him. I'm not internalizing it.
Yeah, for sure.
What is his is his, and I don't got nothing to do with that.
And that's fine. And I think that's fine because we always look at this. We always look at the 1 + 1 and look at the plus as a thing.
Right.
It's funny you're saying that. That's a crazy reaction because another theory that I have in my relationship practices. So I go into my work as a couples therapist when I work in that capacity, right? Like, I have relationship philosophies because what else would I be basing my work on if I didn't have some reference point that I'm working from, right? I would just be out here chasing. So one of the things that I always introduce to see if it aligns, right, with the work that we're doing is 1 + 1 is 3, not 2 in a constant relationship because you're you.
Yeah, because it's all individual
I'm
things.
me. And
the
our relationship is a third and
Exactly.
separate thing.
Exactly.
That as I change, it will change.
Yep.
As you change, it will change. It's its own thing,
Yep.
which is why the relationship is the mirror. That's why I said relationships don't take work. People take work. Because all the relationship is doing is being what it is you poured into
this
it.
is why we needed you here. Look at this. You just explained it in such an eloquent, beautiful way. You know how me and Lucc explained it?
Go, tell me.
Please,
Tell me how you say
let
it.
her know. Way different than that.
He said, "Oh, we gotta constantly be downloading new software."
No, but that's real. That I have used that analogy before. That's real.
It's like,
Tell me more. I want to hear it. Tell me more about it. Tell me about it.
No, that's another fire. No, I'm sorry.
But that's how.
Another fire example. That just didn't sound like that.
No, tell me. I want to hear it because I feel like I'm not.
Y'all drunk water that part.
Because you're talking about what we were like. You're speaking life into what we were talking about, but we
Yeah.
couldn't really water that seed because we didn't have the right water.
It just-
you know?
Right, that's
It
all right.
sound way different.
But we were talking about but what was there, which is
Yeah.
like this whole thing is acknowledgement,
hilarious.
right?
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge the issue. You have to acknowledge the
Yes.
addiction. You have to acknowledge yourself. And we acknowledge that in our marriage, we didn't know that we would have to continuously grow
Yeah.
in our own self, but not just
Absolutely.
grow in our own self. Adapt and learn your partner as they grow.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we were like, shit. We may not even have downloaded the software
Correct.
to learn this new
It's
Word
true.
document.
We were
It's
saying,
true.
and we
It's
also
true.
we were saying that the person you marry isn't going to be the person you die with, right? And we talked about
no,
how,
not at all.
not at all. And
Completely different
But
person.
what happens is, so let me tell you what's ill about
We
this
try to
conversation
force
is
them to be that. We try to
What-
force you to stay who
to
you
stay,
were.
what? But it's not realistic.
But the thing is, I only need you to stay who you were because I'm trying to stay who I was.
Which is
Right,
about
because
growth
I was
anyway.
comfortable with not growing.
Because the version of me that met that version of you that fell in love and
Yeah,
decided
yeah.
that this is I want to stay this. And if I am not willing to become a new thing, then it's gonna when you try to do it, it's gonna challenge me in a way that I don't want to be challenged. So now I'm trying to shrink you to appease me. That's
a
what's
fact.
happening.
Oh,
That's a fact.
I'm being selfish as hell.
And until you're willing to see and admit that, then you can't release it and try something different.
Right.
So then you wrestle.
That's where that
and
work
then it
is
becomes
really,
irreconcilable.
Yeah. You
see what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Rolls Royce says, "What's up?"
Which you
Hi.
Yeah.
you usually hear that at the negotiation table when under divorce. Under the terms of
And
divorce.
people
It's separation.
can't. I used to advocate. This is funny because it's going to be the first time I'm saying it. This is going to be the first time I'm saying it publicly in this kind of platform, and it's going to be also me saying that I'm laying this conversation to rest. So that's funny. But here we go. I used to say, and shout out to Stevan, my homeboy. You know Stevan, went to high school. with
Yeah,
him.
for sure. Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. I used to always say to him, and this is why I used to quietly advocate for short-term marriage contracts. And the reason why I would do this is because I would say exactly what you're saying, which is people grow and change and evolve, and you stand at the altar and commit to forever. I don't know who you're going to be 3 years from now, and I think that I should have the right to check in and see if who you are and who I am still makes sense to continue forward on this journey together. And
That's
that
a mature way of-
we should
Wow.
build that into how we're doing this, so that we both know, hey, contract negotiations is coming up, and if you want to continue on, you feel like
Yeah.
this is beneficial for you, and you want to keep growing and negotiate some different terms, let's talk about what those terms are and what it would
short-term
mean to
marriage contracts.
continue on in this journey together, and what does that look like, and can we both agree, and do we right? And really, what I was advocating for is communication.
Right.
But I was advocating for building communication into the structure or the institution of marriage in ways that it's not until we get to the table. And now we're bargaining about the things, but it was
Right,
never
right.
about
Never
the
about
things. It was never about the
things-
things.
the things is the result
we
of the
should have been
anger
at
and
the
everything that-
bargaining table with our vision for why
Yeah.
this was even the reason we decided to say yes in the first place. Because when I'm clear about what that is, when we come to the table, I say, are you showing up as the version of you that you need to be for us to live out the vision? Am I showing up as the version of me that I need to be for us to live out the vision? What adjustments do we need to make in the way that we're relating to one another to create this third entity, which is the vehicle that's going to carry out the vision? So that's what we're needed to do.
Because every other
My bad.
partnership,
No, you good. No.
every other partnership in life has a deal with a contract of some sort, and there's a there's a agreement that we make under we're working together under the guise of this, and we also have what this will produce.
Correct.
What we see for ourselves in the future. I know
we have projections in your business plan. Where are we going to be in 5 years?
For sure. And you
what
also
is going to be our revenue? Whatever the things are.
What's the word I'm looking for when somebody messes up? It's
like a clause.
We got clauses also in those
Absolutely.
contracts. Also, that if something comes up short, we need to do something about this.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, because if we're getting real, because this is another piece I like to teach people, the history of marriage.
Relatable.
Yeah. So here we go. Relatable. Let's get real relatable today, because now there's this conversation. There are a lot of folks who are like, marriage is a business contract. And people are like, no, it's not. And here's the thing about it. If we're talking about the history of marriage, it very much evolved from an institution that was the morally correct thing to do if you wanted to have children with somebody to grow your legacy, to then you have to love and respect me and romance and bring me flowers and all the things. And we've tried to make the experience that we desire be the purpose for the institution, and it's not.
It's not.
We can desire an experience, but that's not the purpose for the institution. And until we get back to making decisions based on the purpose of the institution, and then along the way build in the desires that we want to experience along the way, now we're to use the word, marrying the two things.
Right.
But when you try to make the experience you desire to have to be the reason why you got this is where you fall apart. Because as soon as you're not having the desire, the foundation crumbles. I have to be able to say, the reason why this institution exists is this.
Because
so I'm choosing to go on this journey, committed to being the person I need to be to uphold the agreement I have with you, going back to what you were saying earlier about this is an agreement. I'm committed to being the version of me I need to be to uphold this agreement that we made, because we're both working towards this vision. And that's the purpose of the institution of marriage.
And has your vision changed?
Now, before we even get to that, because that's a whole nother. But let's finish this thought, because I think that's going to be the foundation for that conversation. So if I'm committed to being who I need to be, to uphold the agreement we have about what we're doing to create this vision, then that means that when we say yes to going on that journey together, we keep in focus that this is what we're here to do. Right. So when you're not being the version of yourself you need to be to do that, my job is to be the mirror that holds you accountable. Yeah. And vice versa. Yeah. When I'm not being the person I'm committed to being to uphold the agreement that we have, your job is to be my mirror and hold me accountable. That's what the institution is supposed to be for. Now, the fun we have along the way, that's for us.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But when you're living in that level of alignment and you're connected to somebody in that way, and you access that level of liberation inside of yourself, because now you know you got somebody who got you and wants the best for you and is going to show you your blind spots and the spots that you couldn't see on your own. When you got that, we out here.
Right.
We winning.
But we out here. This is hella fun.
You've made that your purpose. You've made the feeling, the looks, and all the stuff.
You've made your feelings more important than your future.
Shoot.
Oh, okay. I don't know if this mic is on.
More
but you made your feelings more important than your future.
And you wonder why.
And we know that feelings are fickle.
And then what happens is you tell yourselves that once you get out of that, come out of that bad divorce, all these things.
All the things.
Then you tell yourself, marriage ain't it. Don't do it. You start to preach it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me, I've done it. Because you've done it the complete wrong way and not for the purpose it was intended for. And now you're spewing this BS to the world about how bad it was and why it went bad for you.
Instead of saying, I didn't understand what I was doing. I got myself into something that I wasn't ready for. Somebody gave me the keys to their BMW when I was 5 years old. And now we both trying to figure out how I crashed.
Right.
And that's the thing. Why don't we look at relationships and friendships, our partnerships, whatever you want to call it, our interactions with each other? Why don't we look at it like everything else in life that we want to succeed? There's checks and balances. There's always a report. There's always a come back to. There's always an annual review. There's a quarterly review. Like, where are we at right now? Yeah. How are you doing? How are we doing right now? Why we don't look at, we don't put that same study, that same analysis into ourselves that we do into everything else when it involves money.
Sure.
But we don't look at.
I think because they've been also told that.
That's good.
Told or lied to, in a sense, that all it takes is love.
So both of y'all are right. Both of y'all are right. Both of y'all are right.
You told me something ill too.
What?
We're gonna get into it.
Okay.
I need you to make your point.
Stick a pin in that. Come back to it because I want to know. I want to know what I said.
What you talking about love one time, but we'll talk about that.
Okay, because I be talking about love. That's my shit. Anyway, so what you're saying is the exact mindset that I had when I stumbled upon this idea of having short-term marriage contracts, because I was like, well, in every other area of our lives, we move with a clarity and an intention, and we set goals and we have milestones. You know, that's how we do it. If I want to get from where I am to where I want to go, I got to map my path.
Yeah.
That's right. If I'm getting in the car, I'm put the address in the GPS, whatever it is, I got to map my path to where I want to end up. And we don't tend to do that in relationships, partly because it requires the other passengers to cooperate in ways that they don't often want to. And so we become frustrated and we do all the things. So so the point that you're making about how intentional we get to be is how I arrived at the idea of short-term marriage contracts. But if you remember, I said, I'm also going to lay it to rest here in this conversation today.
Right. Yeah.
And that is because my thinking has evolved beyond the understanding of the world.
Okay.
And how we move through the world in relationships, because that formula makes sense. And I'm not saying that it's null and void. I'm saying the approach that I am considering in these days and this season of my life is different, and it's informed by a different perspective. And so the world perspective is we do everything with a plan. So if you don't have you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? You've heard this. So why can't we apply that to relationships? Well, the answer is because everybody has divine will. Everybody has their own free will. Right. And so I can make all the things and set it up and do it. And women do this all the time. I'm going to call this out because I'm doing the things I'm showing. I'm wifey material, not the I'm doing, but he ain't doing this. And so we think that because I'm doing all the performances that I think I'm supposed to do to be the material, if you not picking me, the path is either something's wrong with me. Why am I not being worthy of being chosen? Is the path that some women go down when they doing all the performance to show and prove. And the dude don't bite is either, well, something must be wrong with me. I'm not worthy of being chosen. Is one path. The other path is, well, he just don't know. He got he just missing out. He don't know what. And it becomes, instead of, you don't have to perform your idea of what you think it means to be wife material. You have to be the truth of who God says you are and let the person who needs what you have come find you.
Because now you believe in somebody else's idea of what you're supposed to do.
Because then what you bring is going to meet him. If we're talking about the rib being removed and we're going to that, now what you bring as the truth of who you are is going to meet him where he is. He's going to see that, recognize that, value that, and then want to hold on to that. And then he's going to choose you not because you're performing some wifely duty, but because he sees the divinity in the truth of who you are, which is who God says you are, which is why it says we're supposed to bury ourselves in the word of God. Because that's going to let you see the truth of who you are. And when you live from that place, they're going to find you.
Yo, Joy, first of all, you got to chill.
Okay.
You don't got to chill. No, you don't.
There's so many bars. It's so many bars.
Because it's like so many bars. I'm going to rewatch this shit because...
But what I just heard,
I don't
either.
But what I also just heard is so bomb because you got to be the image. Your blessing may miss you.
Look, because you acting like you something else.
The blessing don't even recognize you. Like,
that's thinking what you got to do.
This blessing
what's funny is when you're being performative, male and female, right? When you're being performative, you've essentially it's almost like when the camera says action.
Correct.
Or when the director says action, then you put on this idea of marriage,
or
idea of a husband or a wife,
and that's what brings you into my office.
But,
that right there. Go ahead.
That's exactly what it is. And I know where we're going. No, and I know where we're going. What?
That's exactly what brings you into
put
my
on this
office.
idea of a husband or idea of a wife, and then first of all, you're acting. A lot of times you're acting without any real thought about what this role is or what this means to you. Mm-hmm. Right, and when it doesn't work the way it works, you blame the infrastructure of what marriage is, the idea, the structure, the foundation,
instead of how you showed up to it.
Which is the problem.
Which is the problem.
And it makes me. So it goes into the conversation of this whole entire conversation happened because our very first podcast we did together, I brought you up in that first podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said I was before I asked my wife's hand in marriage, me and Joy was on a bike ride.
I remember this day.
Remember I said me and Joy was
That
on a bike.
good
I'll never
day.
forget that.
I won't either. That
me
was a
and
good
Joy
day.
was on a bike ride,
Yeah.
and Joy broke down something to me that I never thought about. She said, what is your idea of marriage?
Yep.
Like, see, people have this preconceived notion of what they think marriage is,
Yep.
and then when you ask them, it's like, oh, that means two people go to the church and then white dress, and then I love him,
That's
she loves me.
a wedding.
That's a wedding. You describing a wedding.
Yeah, it's a wedding.
And
but
when
what
Joy
is
broke
a
that down, what does it
marriage?
mean to marry? And then you two come together, and then you said, both say I do, and then you get home, and you like, you ain't gonna cook? And she like, no, I gotta work, or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
Now you have these idea roles.
Yes,
You bring it in your family history of what it looked like in your household when you came up. All these things of, right?
And so let's talk about that.
Okay.
There's because so many things.
It's so many things.
So many things. But it's the reason why I want to pause us here
Okay.
and get into it is because this is the part where people, when we say, you said that's the problem, you say you're the problem. The thing that came up as you were saying that is the way I define problem, which is if you have an intention and the choices you're making in this moment are not moving you toward. No, listen.
Okay,
I'm just contextualizing the
gotta
conversation
listen.
because
Okay.
you're not wrong.
Okay, you're right.
Active listening.
You got right. Active listening.
Because you're not wrong. I'm just contextualizing
For sure,
it
for
so
sure,
people
for
can
sure.
follow us. Because you know. So you know how I do it.
100%.
Okay. So when it is you're the problem, we're defining problem as you say you want something, but the choices you make are not moving you towards that. So it's not that you are inherently wrong. It's just that in the context of what you say you want, you're not making helpful choices.
Right.
And that is a problem.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I want
Got
to
it, 100%.
What is that?
contextualize. You're making counterproductive and counterintuitive. That's right.
He just learned
Come
that
on.
today.
Come on. Bring the vocabulary in. Bring the vocab in.
got one for you.
That is
One for Rios.
counterintuitive. That is counterproductive. Correct.
Counterproductive.
You saying one thing, you doing something else, and trying to figure out why you're not getting where you say you want to
His
be.
nerves later on.
That's
Use that.
okay.
No,
This is pretty counterintuitive.
hey, you did it all wrong.
Hey, don't have her mad at me.
Dishes.
Don't have her mad at me. She gonna talk about you learned that from Dr. Joy.
No, you did not learn that from me.
Don't do that to
Whispering under
me.
my breath. This is so
So
counterintuitive.
counterintuitive. So
Counterintuitive.
counterintuitive.
What? That's crazy.
That's exactly gonna look at me like, oh man, this is dope. I'm a witness right now. I'm just sitting back. and
But I
enjoying.
wanted to sort of that's hilarious. But I wanted to point this out because what happens all the time, and I think I probably shared with you in that conversation with my clients, I would ask a question, particularly the clients who were either in their marriage and having a hard time in working with me, or couples who are wanting to be married and coming to me for premarital, right? I would always start with, why do you want to be married?
Yeah. Good.
And not why do you want to be married to this person. First, why do you want to be married? Because I need to understand your conceptualization of what it
is,
means to be
yeah.
married. Because that is going to be at the root of every decision you make and every expectation you hold.
Wow.
Is why this matters to me. So if I want to be married because that validates me, I want to feel chosen by somebody. There's a hole in my heart from being abandoned or rejected at some point, and I need a husband or a wife to
Fill that void or whatever.
if that's your why, and you don't bring that to your awareness, and that's informing all your choices and your expectations of your spouse, that's poison.
Absolutely.
Because it's an unrealistic expectation that is unfair to them to have to carry the burden of, and it's unfair to you to be looking for that somewhere outside of yourself when the only place you're going to find it is within. It's unfair.
That's a trap.
That's a trap.
It's definitely
Which is
a trap.
why I said, and that's what lands people in my office. It is a trap. So until you understand what is my drive for being married, not to this individual, because we can always say, because I love, because I'm going to break that.
Right.
But
marriage individually.
But why do you want it, period? Why is this something that feels like something that matters to you in your life?
Right.
Why does a marriage to somebody, for what reason, what purpose does a marriage serve in the course of who you are in this world?
Because the person is the...
How important is why? Just in why and everything. Like, if you're not asking yourself why, in so many things you can...
Bro, you just out here freestyling. You just out here...
And you know what? Here's a beautiful thing about that, because you are out here freestyling, and you're going to learn so much along the way when you do that, because I don't even think we start asking why until way.
Yeah.
And it's the choice. There's the pivotal why. There's the why pity. Why me, God? Or there's the why purpose. Why? Why are you choosing me, God? For what? What is it that you want me to do through this? So you can ask yourself, why me pity or why me purpose? But life is going to make you ask why at some point.
100%.
And which of those paths you go down is going to determine the life you create thereafter. Right? So if you ask what the purpose, why me, God? Then this is Romans 8:28. All things come together for the good of those who love God and are called according, right? So it comes in, boom. Oh, all of this was okay. Got it. And now let me move different, because I have an understanding of the why. I'm going to move different when I have an understanding of the why. I might not start off asking why, but eventually life is going to lay me down and make me ask why.
Yeah. Because last time I busted my head on the concrete.
And eventually life is going to lay me down and be like, now why, you want to do that again? No, I don't want to do that again. So now what's your new choice?
And what happens after that, you make... If one of your concerns was okay, we talked about how the person should be after that. Like, you figure out the why, right? Don't worry about the people so much, because you have to want to know even why you want to do this, right? Which is you got that part. And if you come to that understanding of I completely understand what this is, you'll make a better informed decision on the partner you
because
seek
that's going to inform the criteria that you're looking for, and the person who's going to support you and celebrate you in a journey with you on the way to your why.
These are the necessities, not just the wants.
So now we're getting into...
Come on, man.
Now we're getting into creating a foundation that is growing towards a vision. Because I'm clear about why marriage is the vehicle that's going to drive me to this vision that I have for the life I want to create. Now I understand the person who I'm going to be, because now we're talking about a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
And now I'm choosing the person, and this is why I'm abandoning that short-term marriage contract idea, because of this is my new understanding. Here we go. If I'm clear about the vision that I am walking out for my life, because God told me who I am and what I'm called to do in this lifetime. And I'm clear about that. And now I'm clear about how marriage is the vehicle that's going to get me there. The person I'm going to choose to be in this vehicle with for this lifelong journey, I'm scrutinizing them with a whole different lens.
Yeah.
And I don't mean scrutinizing in a judging way. I'm saying, what do I know? And I'm telling the truth about who I am. What do I know I need? How do I know I need to be held accountable? Who's the person who's going to hold me accountable, set the boundaries, show me my blind spots, lovingly, carefully, and tenderly walk with me as I tend to those blind spots? That person I can trust. When you show me something about me and I need to go off in this cocoon and really deal with myself, can I trust you to hold on to the life that we've created together? Or are you going to trick it off because you got issues with your finances, or you got other drama over here that you ain't dealt with? Now I'm looking at you different, because I understand that when I say I'm asking you to hold my life, the ways the questions I'm asking on the first date are different.
Yes, for sure.
I'm not worried so much about what your shoes doing or we talking about. We having a whole different conversation, because I now know that I'm interviewing the person who's going to sit in the car with me on a lifelong journey from this day forward. And I recognize that we're going to, because it's a lifelong journey, we gonna have to switch seats. Sometimes I'm the passenger, sometimes I'm the driver. And I need to see how you drive. Because I don't want to be in a car with somebody. I got to be doing this to me constantly. I don't know, right? And I also don't want to be driving with somebody who don't trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
When I know it's my turn to lead, because I know what I bring to the situation. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to be doing this and this when I'm doing it. I don't want it. So
or also
this is what I'm trying to see.
I got this. Don't worry. I got it. I'm going to take control. I'm driving.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you don't
Yeah.
respect and see what I bring and when it's important for me to be right. And so
those are people that put roles over purpose.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to talk about.
Just came right there, Rios.
Yeah, you
social
did.
construct.
You did.
Like, and how social constructs are changing. That was dope. I already forgot what you said.
You're not gonna give me my credit.
But you know what though? Look, there's a lot of tangible equity in that one. Right?
I see what you did.
No, Joy, but you make an awesome point that makes me think about how hearing that and then getting into the some of the weaker points I think most people will get married about. Maybe it's unfair speaking.
Like, give example.
Well, I wanted to hear what you were about to say. Hold on, because I'm going to come back to this. But you were about to say something
about the social constructs.
Yes.
And like how maybe I don't know how long you've been doing it, but like say from like the beginning, your journey in your profession, have you seen like social constructs change and how it's affecting marriages now? Like, because we may be on a older thought process here, like the way we think about marriage, or the social constructs were still here 20 years ago to where we are today. You know what I mean? And how is that, from your point of view, of what you've seen, affected marriages positively or negatively? I'm not sure.
That's such a great question, because what I think I see happening, and now this is where I put on my sociologist hat and I look at trends and I kind of zoom out, and it's not just about the individual sitting in the room with me in that moment. I'm also understanding that their thought processes and their experiences is informed by their life outside of their relationships with each other, and also by life that's happening around them that they see. There's a dominant discourse or a dominant narrative that happens in society that informs. And the issue that I often see is that folks are not aware of how that dominant discourse shows up in their decision making, or they deny it. They either are not aware of how those things influence their expectations and how they move, or they're like, nah, I don't give a no. Yes, you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
really
you do. Because there's a part of you that wants other people to perceive your relationship in a certain way. That's why you're wrestling with it to try to make it that.
Other people's perception and perspective.
Because that matters to you. And you want to present it in a particular way because you want the world to think. So you wrestling with it. And even if you think what you're doing is counter to what the world is doing, you're still doing it because you're performing for the world.
Right.
Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be trying to manipulate somebody into being who you need them to be to fit into the story you have of what marriage is supposed to be based on whatever experiences you brought into the room before you even met this person, which is why I always ask the question, why do you want to be married apart from them? Because your ideas come from you, not them.
And you don't even understand you're performing both ways.
Oh my Lord.
Because if you telling yourself you don't want to I don't want people to perceive it a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
There's a performance there, right? Because you're acting a certain way.
It's all manipulation. And it's crazy because none of us would sit here and say, no, I absolutely want to be manipulated for the rest of my life by somebody who's supposed to love and care. I would 100% am down for that. None of us would say that. But that's what we're doing when we come in with an idea about what marriage is and then expect the other person to concede and capitulate. And say, yes, because this is what you want from me, I shall be that. This is literally what's the coming to America. Whatever you like.
Right. Yeah.
And he was like, I don't want that.
That's not what I want.
Right.
I don't want that. What you mean? What do you mean? Who are you?
Look, a perfect example of that. I got on my honeymoon, married Ayana on her honeymoon in Hawaii. We having a great time.
Right.
I'm hanging out with two older gentlemen, probably 20 years my senior. And they're married, and I see their families.
Yep.
And I'm feeling like, oh shoot, I'm married.
What a blessing that you're in the beginning of your journey. You get to witness these men who are seasoned. What a blessing.
And so my wife comes, Ayana comes to the bar there. She's swimming with the ladies or whatever. And she's like, I'm about to go to the room. Come on, let's go to the room. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm hanging out with the fellas.
We out here.
Right? So she's like, okay. And so she walks off, and the two older men are like, you ain't there yet.
Oh.
Take your ass to the room.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I'm feeling like I'm a 20-year veteran. I'm sitting here being cool.
Right,
and they're like, no, we've been married 20 years.
Yeah.
Your
wow.
wife said, "Come to the room on your take your ass to the room."
And what
I
was
got
it?
my
Where
ass
was?
up.
Hold on. Damn. Did you ask them why they were giving you that insight?
That it was like you're on your honeymoon. Your newlywed wife. You're feeling you're having a good time here, but it's about her. You're making it about you trying to have bravado.
Yeah. They not on their honeymoons.
You've been married.
We're on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a
you know what I mean?
minute. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Stick a pin in. They're not on their honeymoon. Please stick a pin in that. But you were saying they were telling you
that you got this shit fucked up. You're not us. You're not where we're at, homie. Like this, you just
put the work in.
We put the work in. I can chill out here right now.
I have kids here.
There's a level. Here's what's. So one of my gifts
because
as a
the expectations
therapist.
of honeymoons too.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
What a time frame.
And here's what I'll say. One of my gifts, which I think makes me a great therapist, if I can toot my own horn,
Yeah, you should.
is that I hear what's not being said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because people, again, are sharing what they feel safe sharing, and I respect that. But there's always something that's not being said. Right? Okay. So underneath, you're not where we are. We have 20 plus however many years in this of skin in the game.
Now, did they say that?
Yeah.
Oh, they actually said that?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
okay, got it.
They basically told me, young street punk, go do what you got to do.
That's what you heard, but I got it.
Yeah.
Young Street
The
Punk
Young
is
Street Punk part.
crazy. Because what are we on? 21 Young Street? Young Street Punk?
Young Street Punk?
No way did you say that. Young Street Punk
And it
is
looked like it was from
crazy.
21 Jump Street.
Yeah, that had to be like on some breaking
Young Street Punk.
electric boogaloo type. Breaking two.
Turbo.
You can't even
Young
offend
Street
it at
Punk.
that point.
Slow down, Turbo.
Exactly. but on the real, like underneath, we have 20 years of skin in the game. Is there's a relationship that her and I have built where we can trust each other in our respective whatever we need in this moment, and it doesn't feel like a threat to who we are together. But that takes work to build a connection of understanding around this is how we do this. You're at the beginning of knitting this tapestry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need your edges. You start around the edges. You need those to be reinforced. You know, when you look at a rug right now, you see the edges around here are reinforced.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at the beginning of this tapestry. You need to be creating a strong reinforcement so that along the way, all of that can blossom and unfold, and it will be a solid. And that moment of what you experienced is often the challenge of the beginning of marriages. That how do I hold on to who I am? No, I'm good right here. This is what I want to do. You have the experience you want to have. I'm going to have the experience I want to have. How do I hold on to myself? It's the dance we're in. Maintain my independence while also appreciating and investing in the interdependence.
Yeah.
The parts where you and I are building something together now. And the dance that we're constantly in relationship and partnership is what's mine, what's yours, what's ours, and how are we finding that flow together, right? And that's the challenge is that you're going to be finding that flow at different speeds and in different ways across the different seasons of your time together. And it's the grace and the patience and the understanding and the forgiveness that helps us meet each other back when we're at different speeds on different pages at different times throughout that journey together, because we understand that that's the journey we're on.
Right.
As opposed to resisting being on it and being like, you trying to change me? You trying to make me? No, that's the journey we're on.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was thank God for having people around, right? Like to be able to put the mirror up. Because I said that because it was the mirror that was put up.
Yep.
And it was me putting the mask on, trying to be something that I wasn't, like for others' perception that I'm here too.
Yeah, I'm a man with y'all. I'm married too. I do this
and
too.
It took grown ass men
to be like,
to say, here's your mirror.
No, young punk.
Young punk.
Yeah.
Take that. Because I think I was waiting on a drink. I was like, I'm gonna get another drink. It was like, get that drink, take it to the room,
And dip.
And it was like, oh shit! Like now, as I reflect on it, as an older 15 years in,
Sure.
I see the importance of community and people
Yes.
that take ownership of their position in life for others' growth.
That's it.
Sure.
You know, and so
Because had they been 20 years, I'd been your age, maybe.
no, had they been just
Probably
not
just been hanging
caring, had they not been caring,
For sure.
Yeah, been like,
get
they
some
could have sat there and watched you do that and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, this young, he don't even
You
know what he
what's
doing.
going on. Get
and
another
not
drink.
said
Get
nothing.
another drink.
Knew you
Yeah.
was setting a trap for yourself and not said nothing to you, let you set it. They could have did that. They could have watched you and been like, oh yeah.
Or just been out there with somebody ignorant.
Or you out there with
You guys
somebody,
with somebody who just like,
Who would have been
wanna
like,
hang
yeah,
out.
don't let her run you. That's how you
That
gonna,
kinda- yeah,
you
that-
set
you know
the
what I mean?
tone. Y'all just getting in. She gonna try to run you. You let her run you now. She gonna run you forever. They
That's
could
why-
have offered you that. And you would probably not be sitting here. Well, I am
that's
in
why I
this
love-
house
somebody
right
said,
now.
you ever thought maybe they didn't just want you around?
That's funny.
But it could have been that. But whatever it was
It's
God.
whatever it
God
was, but
getting me back.
right, help you.
Line
The
this
lesson
up.
you got out of that
Right,
moment.
right.
And again, what I say earlier, your relationship to the moment is going to determine how you respond to the moment, because your relationship to that moment is, I recognize the God in all things. That's the way you chose to interpret that lesson. That's the beauty of all of this. We're all creating our lives based on what we believe to be true.
Right. And I was bringing up the social constructs because it's a lot of questioning going on. And one of the and this is outside of marriage because we have family dynamics too, is children are being raised by their iPads. Or it says social media is changing the children. And I feel like it's coming from a parent that's watching YouTube, that's saying it. You know what I mean? Like, you're projecting and the shit that you're doing on your child raising himself when you're the actual parent that's supposed to be raising the child. How can you even formulate to say that? Because really, damn, it's mirrors, right? Like the statement you just made was about you.
Yep.
And what are you doing? Is social media messing you up?
So
Is it like so? I don't want to go
apart from
I don't wanna jump too
partnership,
far away.
no, you're not.
Okay.
You're just in the next boat over.
Okay. Right.
Because apart from partnership, parenting is going to be your biggest, brightest mirror. The way you partner and the way you parent is going to tell you everything you need to know about who you are, which is why people walk away, because they're not ready to see themselves.
It's easier to do that.
It's
than deal
easier
with
to
it.
walk away
Yeah.
than it is to stay in it and
face you.
see themselves. So that's why people walk away. Why?
Yeah, why is it? I mean, get it from like us talking about it, right?
Right.
And that's a bad idea, right? But
Sure.
why is it so easy for people? Like, for example,
Why is avoidance easy?
Well,
Like, why do you?
yeah. I mean, that's tied in. But
do you
right,
want to lay in the bed or do you want to run a mile?
I look at it like this. Like, for example, when we were in junior high and high school, we would go together and then break up. It was getting one argument, somebody say one thing, and then you like, it's quits. Remember, it's quits. So you say it's quits. Right? That was the thing. Right?
Hilarious.
That was the thing, right? And then people, in my opinion, I kind of see adopting that kind of mind frame in marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? The whole it's quits mentality.
Yeah.
Like, it's just easy, like, oh, I'm mad or whatever, oh, divorce.
Because I never understood why marriage was a thing in the first place. Because if I answer the question,
like I graduated.
if I answer the question of why do I want to be
boyfriend.
married specifically, and I can't answer that, then I don't need to get married. I should just stay boyfriend and girlfriend. So that when I want to be, it's quits. I could do that, and I don't got to do legal. I could just decide that I don't ever want to have to stay in something. So if I don't want to have to stay in it, I don't want to commit to something that's saying by its very existence requires me to stay in it. That's the point of the institution.
Which lets me know there's people
stay in it for the long haul.
Here's the thing too.
If I don't want to do that, then I shouldn't be there.
I shouldn't even be in this place.
Even if I take it outside of relationships, I mean, that whole avoidance thing or ducking when times get tough or whatever the case may be, is the reason why a lot of people, humans in general, never get to whatever they were supposed to be or whatever level, because you're always bailing when it get hard or tough or whatever it may be. And then it's kind of ill because when it comes to like a career, right? I've had topics on podcasts where I talks about how knowing when to switch gears. right? Knowing when maybe you may be in something a little too long.
Yeah.
Or
That's poker. Know when to hold, when
right,
to fold.
know when to fold them, right?
It's everywhere. The lesson is the lesson. Everywhere you apply it. It ain't. We got different little sayings here, there. But in business, it's called the sunk cost fallacy. I've invested so much, I'm not getting a return on my investment. At what point am I going to say I've invested more than I'm going? Like I'm done.
Yeah.
Because it's proving to me. Quarter after quarter, when I look at these ROIs, I'm not getting back what I'm putting in or what I hope to get out or whatever. I'm not going to keep putting money in, being like, one day it's going to turn around. That's how they get you at the gambling, the slot machines, and
that's
you losing your money, but you hoping at one of these pools. So you keep that. So it again, the rule is present across every domain of our lives because the truth is the truth.
Let me ask you.
Let me ask a super chat question real quick.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh.
So we got some super chats.
What is a super chat?
Keep it up. Y'all building something dope here.
What is a super chat?
And then Tati says...
Wait, who was that said that?
Designer Pine Box.
Okay.
Hi, Designer
And then
Pine.
Tati is somebody we had on Reality Check, right?
Thank you, first of all, for saying that.
Yeah. She wants to know, why can't older parents take accountability? Like, I'm thinking she's coming from a point of like the older generation.
Yeah.
Like they having an issue with accountability.
Oh, kind of like I said what I said. That's it. It's like I said what I said.
Like,
so this is gonna Tati, I love you.
Here we go.
I'm gonna answer your question with a question.
Go ahead.
Because why do you need them to take accountability? Right?
Oh yeah, because you gotta.
Because sometimes what we do is, and let me tell you, when I walked in here, one of the first things you said to me without even knowing what you was doing is you casually mentioned, you were giving me a little history about your family, and you acknowledged, and they did the best they could with what they had and what they knew. And in that instant, I said, okay, this is my people. and I'm gonna tell you why I knew that, and why that statement made me know that is because a lot of the times we are challenged by things, and when we start to do our work, we start to trace back the root of those challenges, and it often points to the people that were entrusted to raise us. Right? The people in our communities, our parents in particular, and what they did and or did not do that we perceive to be the root of our issues. And oftentimes, to offload the responsibility for our healing and work, we go, well, it's because they did this and they did that, and they need to do this, and you need to admit that. And so that's the reason why I'm saying, why do you need the older people to take accountability? Is it because you're telling yourself the story that I can't heal my stuff until they own their stuff? Because now you're making somebody else the ruler of your own well-being.
You're giving them the power.
You're giving them the power because they won't do their work. I'm staying stuck. I'm staying stuck because they won't do their work, instead of just acknowledging maybe they're not yet ready to see where they need to be accountable. And that's okay. But because I acknowledge how those choices impacted me, I'm going to make a new choice for me and for future generations. And I don't need to concern myself with why they won't or whether or not they will.
And thank you for showing me the way not to do it.
Whether or not they will be accountable for the things that they did. Because they made choices. People are always doing this, and hear me good. Two things I want you to take away from this, Tati, and everybody else. One, people are only ever doing what they believe to be their best or only option.
People are only doing what they believe to be their best,
only option. Right now, in this moment, I have a decision to make, and the decision that I'm making is what I believe to be my best option or my only option. Yeah, that's the first thing.
That's good.
And when we accept that, that is what opens us up to grace, to forgiveness, and to boundaries as well. Because if that's all you got,
you will see that.
And I'm requiring more, then you're going to see less of me. And that's it. And that's okay. And I'm not judging you. It's just me saying, okay, I see that. I see where you at. And I've grown beyond that place. And because I'm leaving that place and you're choosing to stay in that place, it feels like I'm leaving you, but I'm not. I'm leaving the place. You're just still there. And that's okay.
And I'm protecting.
And that's okay. And it's not even that I'm protecting. It is that I'm honoring. I'm honoring that my awareness is calling me to a different way of being in the world. And I'm going to follow that. I'm not going to apologize for it. And it's not because I'm judging you. It's because I'm choosing what I believe to be true for me.
Yeah.
And I don't need you to validate that by owning the stuff you did, because if you don't own your stuff, you gotta live with that. I don't have to live with you not owning your stuff.
Yeah.
You do.
And this,
so I don't gotta keep being like, why won't you? Because you don't want to. And if you don't want to, okay.
and it's okay for people to disagree.
Because
with
I remember
you.
when I didn't want to. I remember when I didn't want to
Yeah.
own myself, and I was doing what I wanted to do, even when I was aware. How about that?
And I can't.
They may not even be aware. I was aware, and I still was like, no, I'm through this though.
And I can't allow myself. I can't allow myself in the future of whatever I have going on, growth or whatever I need to move forward. It can't be predicated on if you let something go. Somebody else.
That because you don't want to do
you
what
let somebody go.
You don't want to do what I think you're supposed to do. I think you need to say this and do this to own that and be accountable.
And
because you don't do it like how I think you should do it. Right. I'm blaming you for me not being able to go get what. That's crazy.
Okay, wait. Now, and now we're here, right? Because Joy, it's a whole nother conversation. You just open real quick. I want to deal with this conversation.
We already got like 3 pins, by the way. We got the 3 pins. We stuck a pin. I don't know if y'all remember the pin.
Right. Okay. Oh, right. Me and my wife was having a conversation about how you choose to respond to something because this is the way you would do it.
Correct.
Right. So me and my wife get into it about something, and I'm upset or bothered because I wouldn't have did it that way. I wouldn't have responded that way.
Yep.
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have did it like that, but okay, whatever. And it bothers me, or it bothers her.
Right.
It happens to people all the time.
Absolutely.
What is that thing about, like, if it didn't go the way like you said with the accountability part, if they won't hold themselves accountable, it would free you if you let that go.
Correct.
Of them.
Yeah.
So it's the same for me, and how my wife doesn't need to do it the way I would have done it.
That's right.
And for me, that's a trap because I'm actually talking about my real life. I'm not using this for example. This is real life. Where I'm like, okay, I gotta let that go.
This is a real thing. You gotta let that go.
Even when we driving, like I would have made that left.
That's all
like,
right.
Man, y'all going to the same place.
If we still getting to where we going, then why does it matter how we go?
Place.
Why does it matter? It's a trap.
So what is that thing about? What is that about people that we? Not everybody, obviously, but people.
Yeah, you
do
right.
That. Okay, right.
It's called. There's a word for it. It's called projection. Is what we're doing.
Can I add to that too?
Please, yes, absolutely, you can.
I used to do this to Ayana all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would be the aggressor, or the transgression would be on me.
Sure.
She would be hurt, or the pain would be in her.
Sure.
That I caused.
Yep.
And then I wouldn't feel right until she talked about it. Like I can't leave here until we fix this.
I need you to do what I would do to handle this in order. So this is what's
I need you to be all right before I can leave.
So,
and it's my shit that caused her to be upset or hurt. And then I'm demanding her to be okay so I could go out into life and
her healing at that point ain't about her.
How dirty and nasty is that shit?
Her healing is really about you. It ain't about her at that point.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's just so I can be comfortable and not think about it when I'm outside.
Exactly.
Okay, that's me sometime too. So
correct. Welcome.
Welcome, dummies.
I want to appreciate your awareness of this because that is exactly what is happening, and that is often, again, the root of a lot of the issues that are coming up, right? So now what you're talking about is when I'm not clear about what I'm doing, then I'm coming in here with some other idea. Now I'm projecting that idea onto you, and I need you to live up to that for me to feel okay with me being, and that's what it is. I'm not clear about what this is really about. So I'm coming in with some expectation of what this is supposed to be. And in order for me to feel comfortable inside of this, I need you to capitulate to my expectations. So the role of the wife in my story is like this. Lights, camera, action. Play the role, girl. Or play the role, guy. Because this is the story I'm telling myself about what this is supposed to be. And you're not... You are not conceding to the story in the way I need you to for this to feel like the life that I said I was supposed to be living because I believed some other story that came from whoever knows where else about what it was supposed to be. So then I'm going to tell you why now, to the both of your point. There is a level of, belonging is a human drive that we all have. The need to belong. It's why people do all kind of stuff. Just to fit in. Right? We've seen it. So that's a natural human drive. And the highest experience of belonging is when somebody validates your presence. So not only do I belong, because we're married and you validated that, but the value that I bring to this collective experience that we're having. I need you to validate that to take my sense of belonging up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
The way you validate that is by saying that the way I'm doing this is the way it's supposed to be done. So when I say you're supposed to wash the dishes like this, and you like, nah, what I hear on the deeper level is how I do it is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to do it my way to mirror back to me the way that I do it to validate that what I believe is the right thing instead of accepting that
they do it another way.
They do it another way, and it doesn't mean that your truth is wrong. It just means that I can take the freeway, I can take the back streets. We still go in the same spot.
Right. And I'm used to, look at this, and I'm used to my family dealing with problems. Guess how I'm used to them dealing with problems? Sweeping shit under the rug.
And you decided I'm not going to do that. So we got to talk about it.
Yeah. So it's like, just say you're cool. Ayana's like, no. She comes from the same background, studied up. And she's like, no, I need to sit with this.
Correct.
Think about it.
So that when we do talk about it, I'm saying something that's going to move us towards a solution instead of just telling you how I feel, getting that off.
And me,
and
I'm like, just be cool. Just be okay.
No. And what you're really saying, ooh, woo. Because here's what you're really saying.
I'm putting myself on the line, y'all. You know what I mean?
This is important. This is important because this is the importance of self-awareness. Because what you're saying is, I come from a family where we used to put things under the rug, and I told myself, I'm not going to do that. We're going to talk about it. But in you trying to force the talking about it, what this is really an expression of is your discomfort with the emotions that you have to sit with.
Yes.
And the reason why you're uncomfortable is because you came from a family that swept things under the rug and you don't have a practice of sitting with emotions. So because we swept it, I don't know how to sit with my emotions, but I promised myself I wasn't going to sweep it like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it. But the reason I'm pushing you to talk about it is because sitting with this is so uncomfortable.
It's so unfamiliar.
It's so uncomfortable that I'm like, you got to do this like this because it's really about me.
Yeah.
I don't care about your hurt.
I don't care really about your hurt. I just need you to say it because I need to know that I'm not the family that sweeps it under the rug because that's my commitment. My commitment is not to being that.
You know where it gets bad too? For lack of better terms, is that when they know, like my wife now, when she knows that that's not about her.
Yeah.
She knows that it's something about me that's very uncomfortable with her sitting in whatever she's sitting in, whether it's processing what happened, which we realistically need as humans sometimes to process something.
100%.
Absolutely. I need to understand.
can sit my uncomfortable and be all squirmy. Now I'm going to force you, which is manipulation, to talk about something.
Correct.
Right?
Because I got the answer right now. I got the answer right now. And I'm going to beat you right now.
Here's the thing too. We'll use manipulation tactics or little words like I won't get mad or I won't argue. Just say it. Like you try, and then you explode after that.
Right.
Now the safe space has been crushed. There's no more safe space.
Right.
Because you don't realize you've been doing this. Right. And that's the thing. It's the reason why she don't want to talk.
Yeah.
It's the reason why she don't want to respond or reflect. And it's the reason why, even though what she feels may be a genuine feeling about something she's going through, or maybe not even be about you, the safe isn't space. The space isn't safe. I've been here before.
The space is not even. The space was unsafe way before you blew up. The space was unsafe when I told you what I needed and you didn't respect that and you tried to force me to talk because that's what you needed.
Right.
The space became unsafe when I set the boundary and you said, "Bump that. We gonna talk about this."
Right.
So one
problem,
you unsafed the space
on top of another problem. On top of another problem.
Because I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing what I need from you.
Mm-hmm. Selfish.
You're not a person. You're a thing.
You
become an opportunity for me to have my needs met because I don't see you as you. I see you as a vessel for the experience I want to have.
I explain that as an object, right? Like you're just an object. I told people, stop being the rock for the snake to shed its skin.
Correct.
You're nothing but the rock.
That's it.
You think you're healing and helping the snake, but to the snake, you're just a twig or a rock that is using to shed its skin. Mm-hmm. And I was that.
And the thing is,
like that. I was the rock, and I had to realize, like,
I thought you said you were a snake.
No, I was.
Because I can relate to that. You have been.
No, I've been the snake. Yes, the snake. And so I've used people as objects in my life.
Amazing.
I've used people as objects and like just to get back to the next situation.
Yeah.
Or let me build up to go here 100%. And to go there. And it was like, that's the most selfish.
It's only
Shit.
selfish when you don't communicate that that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
when you allow somebody else to think that it's
yeah.
something else, but you know it's not, that's when it becomes
yeah.
selfish.
Because
Not every relationship, recencies in our lifetime. Not every relationship is meant to be more than that. Maybe that's all we are supposed to be. Can we be honest about that?
Right.
We don't have to say that you're the rock and I'm just shedding my skin.
Right.
We don't got to say it in that
Yeah,
language.
yeah.
But can we be okay with this thing that happened was the assignment that we had in each other's lives and we completed that and we don't have to force this to be nothing beyond that? Can we be okay with
stating
that?
your intentions in the beginning?
Can we be okay with that? Can we be okay with the mirror that I looked in when I tried the outfit on in the store is not the mirror I need to take home with me? I just needed to use that mirror to confirm that this is what I was going to do. Now, when I take this home in my own house mirror with my own house light and I get the shoes I was thinking about wearing for the event, and now I'm putting all the other stuff together. But the role that mirror played, that person that I met at that point in my life was just for that. Can I be okay with that without trying to make it into something because I think it's supposed to be?
Right.
Because now I'm coming in with a story in my mind about what it's supposed to be already. Because like you said, I already got the answer. I just need you to say what I know you going to say about how you feel. Because I know you mad. I know you hurt. I know you all. I just need you to say it so I can get this off. Because really, what I'm holding is so uncomfortable. But I need you to participate in this game that I'm playing.
Exactly. I'm going to manipulate the hell out of this so I can go to work with a free conscience.
Because it's about what I need.
That's what I need.
So now I realize we did that at what cost?
So now let me say this, and I'm gonna. Now this is
pain,
me.
all that like.
Listen, now this is me putting on my hat as regular Joy, the woman who dates men, and y'all do this shit. But here's the shit that we do. We women, because it sounds like y'all are all having the same experience. I be doing this. We be overthinking. That's what it boils down to. And we can get into hunter gatherer, all those things, but we won't. Point is, we have to. We have to be thinking about all the parts and all the what's going on and this and that. And we're doing it all the time. Yeah. I'm walking down the street in the dark by myself. I'm thinking about things that maybe a man is not thinking about. Right? It's just all the things, right? Yeah. People who are short think about things that I don't have to think about as a tall person. My experience in the world is very different. Yeah. So the things I'm considering when I'm making decisions is very different. I have a different set of data that I'm working with.
Right.
So as women, we're thinking about all these things. And so when I respect you and I love you and I want this to work, when we do sit down and talk about it, I want to have a conversation that's going to move us towards what we say we want. And because I'm not yet clear about what that conversation is, I don't want to have it with you right now. I need time. I need space. I need to process. And when I feel loved in that and appreciated and honored and respected in that, when I do come and talk to you, it's going to be the best conversation we ever had because we're both going to grow.
Right.
But if you just want to, again, make your feelings in this moment more important than our future in our marriage, then you're going to be puncturing our union every time you do that. Putting holes in it. Every time you don't respect what I need to show up as the version of me that is committed to the agreement that we have for the life that we're creating. Every time you don't respect the boundary that I put up for me to show up as that version of me, what you're saying is I would rather forfeit that version of you to get my needs met in this moment, the version of me that I am right now, instead of the version of me that we could grow into as a result of really letting this show us something about how we're showing up to this relationship.
Boom. And that's that ownership shit as well.
Correct.
Like I don't want you to grow and become a better person. I want to own you as who you are.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
and then I want to mold you into the person that I think you should be. That's manipulation. It's not. And
what the hell do I know about molding anybody?
Wow. Because I want to acknowledge you for saying that because my immediate thought was, because we think about predatorial as like, underage or whatever, different things. But it's still predatorial. Even if we are legally allowed to be in this without somebody raising the eyebrow or, doing a little side eye, even if it's still predatorial because what I'm saying is I see somebody that I think I can manipulate into being who I want them to be. And I'm going to use my influence in this relationship, how I know they feel about me, to do that.
I'm going to use my strength on a weaker opponent and take advantage it may be legal, but I am doing it tactfully and purposefully to take advantage and manipulate somebody into my benefit.
And I'm calling it love.
And I'm calling it love.
When I do it. Wow.
And they have no experience in life to even compare or put it up against. It's to me, it's one of the most predatorial things that happens in life that is so casually overlooked.
Or they do have experience and they're showing up their response to this moment with what the tools that they have from their experience, and you're completely disregarding that because no. The tools that you gain on your journey that they're allowing you to show up in this moment and hold these emotions until you figure out how to express them. You brought those tools and I'm completely invalidating them because I'm trying to make you operate with the tools I got.
And Tati, I told you she had the reality check, right?
Yes.
And so beautiful young lady, beautiful spirit.
Yes.
I'm not just talking about just beautiful
Absolutely.
young lady. And the beginning of her adulthood, going into adulthood.
Oh, that's that Tati.
That Tati.
Okay,
yeah.
got it. Okay.
Going into life, came across a predatorial man
person.
and said ugly things to her. Like it wasn't physically abusive, but it was verbally abusive.
And that's right.
And you can be things can be drilled into you so much and so hard that you become that thought, right? And so he tore her down. Like how the military, we build you down and we build you back up. But this way, we never build you back up. We just want to break you down so that you will be dependent upon me.
Yep.
And your joy, your love, your support, everything is me.
Yep.
And so because I told her I'm so nervous for my daughter, you know what I mean? Because there's people out there like that. She's younger than me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to talk to you like you're my daughter, but I just see you as a baby.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's like, how do we teach our children, not just girls, men, boys, how do we teach our people to be strong enough that they know what somebody's saying to them is not the truth? That's your reality, not mine.
Okay. First of all, so many things. Tati, shout out to you for this question. Thank you for bringing it. I had mentioned earlier, I said I had 2 points. The first point I mentioned was that people are always doing what they believe to be their best or only option. Yeah. Right? And parents included. And so the second point that I was going to make, and I'm bringing this around to close that loop because I want to make sure I complete that thought. To the point that I was making around people are always doing what they believe to be their best or only option, that applies to parents too. And sometimes we forget that second point I was going to make. Parents are people too. And if I said earlier at the top of the relationships are the conversation, relationships don't take work. People take work. Yeah. And if parents are people too, that means the relationship we have with our parents requires us to acknowledge their humanity first, before the role that you play in my life. Who are you before who I need you to be for me? How can I acknowledge who you are, the stuff you're going through, the tools you have? Yeah. So now this is the point that's tying me back to what you were just saying. Okay. In the example you gave about, I need to talk about this for me to feel okay going out into the world, because I'm not well practiced in sitting with the emotions that are coming up for me, knowing that you're not okay and I got to go through this. Because I don't have the practice of holding my emotions, I'm trying to force you to show up how I'm showing up. And what she's saying is, I do have a practice of holding my emotions. I know how to sit with the discomfort. I'm hurt right now too. And I don't like how it feels, but I know how to sit with this and understand it so that when we talk about it, I can say something of value and virtue, as opposed to explosively talking because I'm feeling what I'm feeling right now and just got to get this off. And because I'm just trying to get the emotion off, I'm not really clear about whether or not what I'm saying and if it's going to be productive. So we talked earlier about being counterproductive. I want to be productive. Right. That takes me to do what? Rest in the power of the pause. I got to rest in the power of the pause and say, hold on, how do I want to respond to this moment? What's my relationship to it? Yep. How do I want to respond to it? Going back to what I said earlier. So now, for people...
Rest in the power of the pause. I like that.
Yeah, you got to do that.
I like that, yeah.
For people who don't recognize that and are going to wrestle with her, this is where the abusive part comes in. because I see that you have a capacity that I don't have. And instead of rising to the occasion and growing my own capacity, I'm going to shrink you to mine. So I'm going to break you down until you only use the tools that I'm familiar with.
Right.
So you used to have the tool of sitting with this emotion. You used to be able to sit with emotions and hold them and think about it and converse. But I've broken you down. So now you're explosively emotional like me too. Now we're operating on the same level because I didn't want to accept your invitation to grow and expand my toolkit. I wanted to break you down until you only operated with the few tools I know how to use. So I'm going to talk to you crazy. I'm going to knock you out sometimes. I'm going to put you down. I'm going to do until you are so small. I cause you to shrink into a version of me where you only now have access to the tools that I'm comfortable with. And now we can play on the same level field.
Because
that's what abuse is.
Cool.
Because some people fly gracefully in chaos.
Because that's so.
Some people just live. Some people really fly gracefully in chaos, and
absolutely,
that's a comfortable space for them. And to meet them there, the whole misery loves company thing, it's like matching their energy there. They can operate in that. They know what to do when it's chaotic, right? What makes them uncomfortable is when somebody isn't.
Okay.
Or you know what I mean?
Two things. I want to address this because you're spot on. Two things. Something I learned years ago. God told me it's not that misery loves company. It's that misery needs company.
Oh.
Here's why that's important.
Right.
Here's why that's important. Because if you understand that, then and if you choose to be that, because you can.
Yeah.
You got to choose to be that with that understanding of if I'm choosing to sit with them, now we're getting into Bible. If I'm choosing to sit with these people, it's because I understand the opportunity that I have to influence them in a different way. Not because I'm imposing what I think they should be, but because I'm not going to I'm not going to let them impose onto me what they are. Right. So if I choose to sit in this, it's because I believe that I can stand my ground and show them a different way to be in a situation like this. Not because I'm going to be in it with them and then I'm going to get in here and get messy too.
Right.
That's not how that's going to go.
Right.
So Jesus said, I could be with the in these streets.
Yeah.
I could be in these streets because I know who I am and the street's not going to get on me. I'm going to put what I bring into the situation, not let the situation get into me, right? And so if I see that somebody is in misery and they need company, then I can choose consciously whether or not I want to journey with them in that, with the understanding that my responsibility in here is to make sure that I'm journeying with them and I'm not getting in their mess, but I'm journeying with them through it. I'm not getting with them in their mess. I'm journeying with them through it, understanding my role and responsibility as somebody who's called to be a light in the world. So now there's that.
That's good.
So I'm not shaming you for needing company. Right. I am assessing whether or not I choose to be that company. Do I have what I need? Some people's stuff is too close to mine. If I journey with you, I might get in there with you with it. So I gotta say, no, you gotta have that on your own. Or this is a lesson you gotta learn. I could journey with you, but part of why you ain't learning is because somebody always comes and saves the day. You got to go through this one. You got to go through this one on your own, right? But that's my own discernment with my own understanding for why I choose to journey with people or not.
Right. Okay.
That's my own process of doing that assessment. Right? Is like, people, misery needs company. And do I choose to accompany this person on their journey for this season? And for so long, and because I can change my mind. Because maybe I can say yes in this season, and in another season, I can say, all right, I'm tapping out. I've done it. Coming into 2025, there's a lot of people who I've been journeying with for a lot of time. And I said, okay, this is the last stop on our train. It's been fun.
Enjoy it, right?
And I love you, and I'm going to show, and I'm going, there's still, and it's at varying levels. For some people, it's been like, no, you really got to go complete. And for other people, it's like, I see you when I see you. It's nothing. Some people, I might even check on you every now and again, but we not where we used to be. Like, it's different. It's varying levels of that, right? For different reasons. All of them associated with what I know God is doing for me, through me, that's making me say, I got to choose wisely.
Right.
Yeah. I gotta choose wisely who I am journeying.
Because who I choose also shows my judgment.
Okay. Okay.
I was thinking about something earlier too. I was thinking about something earlier we were talking about, and it made me think about how in my own relationship, it's on topic, but for earlier. But I was thinking about something that just when it comes to like a kind of understanding or being accountable for the way you maybe looking at something or what your perspective is. when you're dealing with two people that are in a relationship, in some kind of relationship.
Sure.
But in this case, me and my wife, I realized that how much extra BS basically I was putting on ourselves,
Yes.
myself with when I understand that just because my wife is telling me something that it may make me uncomfortable or I may not like or whatever, does not mean it's an attack. Mm-hmm. Every time I used to always think that she was attacking me, and she would tell me time and time again, like I'm not like we're together, like we're husband and wife. I'm telling you as a wife, this is maybe something I need, or this is maybe something I want, or this may be something we are doing, or this is something that you may be doing, whatever it is. It's just I always thought it was if I didn't like it, it must be an attack, and then I act out in a certain way. And what happened was that operating in that space, that's what made me bring up the safe space thing.
Yes.
Because she expressed to me later on how she no longer felt like she had a safe space to talk to me about anything.
Oh, shoot.
Because,
woo!
Because I always felt like
that's good.
She was attacking me. And I had to really sit with that. I've been doing the work now and stuff like that, but it was a real thing. Now, it wasn't even that far back. It's a real thing where I'm like,
wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. I'm grateful that it was a safe enough space for her to be able to have that conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe some of the other stuff she didn't feel safe saying, but she did feel safe enough to say,
tell me that.
There are things I don't feel safe saying here.
Yeah.
And that, as long as you all, because that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
That's part of her holding up the mirror to you, showing you yourself, is that you're going to run into those parts of yourself that you didn't know were there until she does the things and makes you see those things. Yep. So I appreciate that you were able to say like, ooh, she said it and it made me sit with that, right? That you were able to kind of do that. But thank God that you have a space safe enough for her to always be able to come and say that. There's something I need to say, and the amount of safety that we currently have is just enough for me to say, I don't feel safe saying the next thing I need to say.
Right.
So whatever you got to do that.
right.
You come back and then we'll say the other thing. But just know it's a thing.
Yeah. And
also, I'm
that's
giving you
the
fair
work.
warning, like, because I love you and I want you to know this is something you need to work. We need to work on.
Correct.
Well, for me, it showed me also how I interpreted it was is that it's like when you realize I'm trying. We're on the same team. This only if I can even at the sake of us getting into something, for this to work, you need to know that this is happening.
Yeah.
So I'll risk it by saying it because it's kind of like running into the burning house to save your kid. Right. It's like I might die going in there. Yeah. But I got to save my kid. I got to save.
I gotta say this.
Yeah. So with her, I kind of looked at it like, how I interpreted it was like, man, we really trying to make this work. Because I literally was looking at it as an attack. I felt like an attack. And what happens is you start to feel like, well, speaking as a man, I start to feel like I'm kind of emasculating a little bit, but me doing it to myself.
She was challenging your leadership.
Yeah, like me, and I'm like, I don't feel like, I feel like even me feeling attacked all the time and complaining about it, don't feel manly. Like, I don't start to not feel like the man.
Okay.
And so now I'm feeling attacked. So you defending that, and I don't feel like a man. Now I'm fighting for that too. Mm-hmm. And for her, she's like, nigga, shit.
Wasn't nobody calling your manhood into question. Nobody was trying to challenge your leadership.
And
nobody
as a
do
creative,
any of that.
What you are. Yeah. We tend to write stories.
Right.
First of all, I will throw this microphone away because the way I am sitting here in this present moment being like, check yourself.
You know what I mean? So
it's crazy.
And I have to realize, I told my wife that I said, I have to do better at that, because it's kind of like if Rios, I'm not extra like this, but for an example, if Rios don't answer his phone for a week, then I done told myself, oh, Rios got a problem with me.
All the reason why he ain't answering it. Yeah. You ain't considered that this man could have all kind of other stuff going on. Because let me tell you something I had to. Let me tell you, as a person who is recovering from an anxious attachment style due to childhood wounds of abandonment and rejection, Okay, shout out to the people who feel me. One of the things I have had to check is the story that I tell myself. And so one time, I'll tell you a little quick one. This is when I was in grad school, I was working on my doctorate, and as you can imagine, take some, you got to study, write papers, a little bit of time. Take some time to get a doctorate.
For sure.
So when I would be working on, and at the time I was also, running my business. So it was like, I'm running a business, I'm writing a dissertation, I'm studying for this, and I'm trying to show up for that, and I got a million things going on. And then the time I was in a relationship, and I would be like, oh my God, he's going to feel this. He's going to be so mad. I'm not doing this. I'm not investing the time. I need to show up. And I would be like going crazy trying to make sure, don't forget, okay, Wednesday night we do this. And I would be and when I would be away, I would have all this anxiety about what he was thinking and how he was going to be because I'm not giving him the time and attention and all the things. And then I would call him because you got to connect, you got to do the things.
Right,
I would call. And then I would call him and he'd be like, hey. And I'd be like, what's up? He'd be like, chilling, talking about, telling me what he was doing. And every time, because it would happen all the time. Every time I would have to be like, because his life does not revolve around you, Joy.
Right.
When he's not on the phone with you, guess what he's not doing? Sitting by the phone waiting for you to call him.
Right.
Guess what he is doing? Having a job and other friends and hobbies and parents and taking a shit and all kind of other stuff that he got to do. That don't got nothing to do with you. He is not sitting around while you do what you do, because you're getting your degree, doing your things, and while you do that, he's doing things too. So the fact that you have created a story that whenever you don't call him, he's sitting around throwing a hissy fit, throwing a tantrum, stomping around the house because he ain't doing none of that.
He chilling.
It's the story you told yourself because your anxiety thinks that you have to perform for him to stay in the relationship.
We'll act on that.
So I had to understand that the story was born from my own anxiety about thinking I needed to do something different for somebody to stay, which is why I'm understanding that comes from my own abandonment wounds. If I would have done something different, maybe that person would have stayed in my life. So now I feel like I have to figure out just the right thing to do. What's the right formula of presence and all the other things that I think I need to perform.
And that's pressure.
To be with you, for you to stay with me, because my anxiety is telling me if I don't do those things, you will leave.
And what does that say about, because this is me in reverse, what does that say about him or her? Like if we didn't talk for 2 days and you think that I'm cheating or I'm ignoring you, I don't like you anymore.
Thinking the worst.
You thinking the worst
case scenario.
It's like I'm on the other end looking at that like, well, what do you think of me anyway? Like, you've created this whole thing,
yes.
And then like, was there any kind of fight for like he loves me and he's chilling?
Wait,
or vice versa, how I do her.
So wait, what if that?
If it could be so easy in my head about
what if
Lauryn Hill said it could all be so simple,
right?
But we'd rather make things hard.
What if what we jump to is something that we're familiar with, what we've seen in the past?
That's exactly what we're doing.
What you say?
What if the worst scenario that we're jumping to is something that we are familiar with or have seen in the past?
Oh yeah,
that is exactly
100%.
what we're doing.
Okay,
you're 100%.
It's
driving the car.
There's a word for that. It's called catastrophizing.
So
what if we learned earlier? We learned projection is when you have an expectation of what other people should do based on what you would do in a situation.
That, my wife now.
That is projection. We learned that. We learned.
We just stop catastrophizing.
Don't you weaponize it, Chaz, if you're watching. You better know, I did not tell him to be weaponizing this wisdom.
Be like, you had Joy on?
Don't you weaponize this wisdom I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to help you. You trying to do something else.
Catastrophize. Okay,
but it's called catastrophizing. It is when we imagine and really accept that the worst case scenario is the most likely scenario. And then we allow the emotions. Yes, we do. And if we can get into the neuroscience of it all, it's what our brains are wired to do. We're wired for survival. We're constantly scanning our environment for threats and opportunities. So based on your point, if I have a past experience that is recorded in my body that says when that thing happens and you have this feeling, respond like this to save yourself from that, because that's how you survive in these situations.
Yeah, I used to fight.
So this is what I'm saying. If you find yourself in a situation, you have a recorded memory in your body that says, in that situation, you got to respond like this if you want to make it out. And that's the rule. As soon as you see the situation, you're going to be toot, toot, toot.
Boom.
And because your mind is going, because I'm trying to avoid this thing that I don't want to happen. Worst case scenario, the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is conjured up because our brain is wired for protection and survival. Yeah. So this is why, again, the power of the pause, something else we learned today, the power of the pause is important, because then you can say, okay, that is a possible outcome, but is it the likely outcome? Are there other outcomes that I could consider? And are those other outcomes, all those alternatives, more likely to happen? Yeah. Now, inside of this, what you're doing is you're weighing your understanding of the situation. You're applying wisdom. Good. You're applying wisdom to the situation by saying, okay, here's the way I want to. This is a mantra of mine. This is a mantra of mine that I have that has helped me grow out of old patterns. I should say that does help me grow out of old patterns. Sometimes you have to intentionally deny what you innately desire.
Sometimes you intentionally deny what you innately desire.
Because if you're wired for protection, and in this moment, I perceive what is happening to be a threat to my well-being, physically, emotionally, or otherwise, my innate desire is to protect myself from what I perceive to be a dangerous situation. But if it's not, I'm doing damage.
Right.
So I have to pause to assess whether or not the threat I perceive is actually real.
At all. Yeah, right, yeah.
And then I can decide, if it is, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, right.
If it's not, what can I make a new choice? This is how I grow out of the old pattern. Because if I just do when I innately desire, that automatic thing, that trigger that I just want to do, how I always do in these situations, when I'm in these situations, because this is what I've always done, and I have survived 100% of those situations, which is why I'm still sitting here. So I'm going to trust the thing that I've always done. Okay. I innately desire to do this, but if I want to grow and break this pattern that I'm acknowledging is no longer serving me, I have to be able to pause, assess the situation, evaluate and determine whether or not this thing that I perceive to be a threat to me is an actual threat to me. And if I determine that it's not, based on my judgment and applying my wise brain, this is now bringing, if we're going back to the neuroscience, this is bringing in that prefrontal cortex, which we call the CEO of the brain. It's where executive function and decision making happens. If I don't go from the amygdala, or go from the limbic system, which is the oldest part of the brain, which is the part of the brain that's wired to drive survival. If I don't move from there and I pause and I regulate my nervous system, this is where mindfulness and meditation becomes incredibly powerful. I'm tying it all together. I hope you're catching this. So if I don't act from the limbic system, which is wired for survival, and I regulate myself, take a couple deep breaths, take a step back, pause, which is what your wives were trying to do when they were like, I need a moment before we talk about this. If I step back and I say, let me look at this and assess all the pieces before I determine what's going on here and how I want to move forward, then I can call in my executive functioning brain, the part of my brain that is can make decisions with consequences in consideration, with logic in consideration, with all the other parts that are going to be impacted after I make the choice that I make right now.
Which is why the pause part is so important.
Which is because I want to consciously make the choice with the understanding that on the other side of this, there will be consequences. And I can either assess those consequences and consider them in the decision-making process, or I cannot and then deal with the consequences on the other side, which is largely going to mean trying to clean up a mess, right? So if I pause, I'm now bringing in the part of my brain that helps me to function according to my understanding, not my emotion. Okay? I feel what I feel. I don't have to act on it. Okay. When I bring that part of my brain in, now I am choosing to show up according to who I say I am, not just how I feel. Who am I? That's what integrity is. Am I acting according to who I say I am? Not just how I feel. Integrity is, Am I aligned with who I say I am and the truth of that?
Oh, that's a deep one.
That's good.
And pausing allows us to access that, ask ourselves, and then choose accordingly. When we don't pause, and that is until we develop a practice where our automatic response is to then do the new thing that is more helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Understanding that even that is a rule that we're creating for the circumstances that we're in today. There might come a day when that rule is expiring and we need to check in and say, do I need to innately deny or intentionally deny what I innately desire in this moment? Because I'm creating a rule for how to respond to this. And that rule works for this situation. That rule may not work. The rule that you have for the time you give your wife to process what she needs to process may not be the same rule that you have for the time that you give your homeboy.
Yeah.
You understand? So what happens is we try to make rules about a thing in a situation, and then we try to apply that rule to every context, and that's not how it works.
It's not.
That's not how it works. I'm not giving you the same kind of leeway that I'm giving over here. The same way I'm not giving a grown-up the same kind of leeway I'm giving a child. A child don't know better.
Right.
But you grown.
Yeah.
So even if I think you should, if you don't, now I have a decision to make about my relationship to you.
Wow.
The integrity is the thing was when you don't align with what you say you are.
Yeah, if this is who I say I am, do I have to tell you that, or do you see that because that's how I show up?
Right.
People say all the time, I shouldn't have to tell you I'm a Christian. You should see, I shouldn't have to make that announcement.
Yeah.
In how I move through the world, you shouldn't be shocked when I say that I am.
Right.
When I finally do tell you, you shouldn't be shocked.
Right.
Because it should make sense because of how I move through the world.
Well, I'm an intellect, so
Go.
are you saying you're an intellect, or are you?
Right.
Well, I'm this. When you have to
make that announcement.
What? I hate when people say I'm a real nigga. No, you ain't gotta go that deep.
No,
when people say that, I'm a real nigga. Like, why you announcing that?
That's a fact.
I know my
because
real
I didn't
nigga
have to
is.
ask you that. If you moving like that, I'm gonna know that already.
Respectfully, Joy, one of the realest niggas I know. I never had to say it.
Facts.
You ain't gotta say she ain't
But also knew that. I knew that.
You didn't do that. Right?
And I ain't never had to say that. I have never had to say that to nobody. But I know what it is.
That's real talk.
And people who know me know what it is.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
That self-promoting, you're trying to convince yourself to be something you're not.
No, you're trying to convince other people to believe the lie because you don't want to do the work to actually be who you
that's
say
marketing.
you are.
That's marketing.
That's marketing. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do the work, so you're going to try to do this. Yeah. If I distract you, do a real nigga shit. That ain't what's going on. That ain't what it is.
But that's so funny because I see that often. It happens so often of people doing that, and it's almost like I just sit back and just like, okay, I know. It's almost like I know what you're not.
Correct.
I know what you're not.
And so now, remember earlier I said I have a gift of hearing what's not being said?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly. That's
right.
Exactly. The gift was not being said. We have this super chat?
Or seeing through what is being said, right? But that's because I observe.
Big Chef Super sent the super chat $10. Salute Rios, Lucc, and Dr. Joy. Every day is Frosted Flakes. Chef Super, never forget. That's what he said.
Shout out to you.
That's his way say it's all good.
Right.
Every day
Big
is
shout out all
Frosted
up.
Flakes.
Facts. Every day is Frosted Flakes out
Chief
here.
Don Sosa, thank you for $4.99 super chat. Thank you for this episode. It really is a dope episode. Thank you
ain't
everybody
gotta
for
read the prices because
thank you for sending in the super chats. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
But I do there is something
sure.
that I do want to touch base on because I'm at a place where I'm somewhat confused. I don't have enough knowledge in this area, right? I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
It's only two genders. It's male. And then,
No, that's what Trump says.
That's crazy.
Wait, I thought it was 22.
Why would you do that to this man? That's crazy.
Actually, that's exactly what I was going to talk about. No. Let's go. No, but our people, right? Like I say our people, but then I think like, is it community or is it culture, right? And we're in this place where there's such a divide between what we think a relationship is or what relationships should be or what roles are. Yeah. And it's very televised and promoted right now.
As in like a loving couple?
Yeah, like couples, like relationships, like, oh, this is what a man's supposed to be. This is what a woman's supposed to be. Or this stuff, and it's like happening with us, and it's being like so televised, so promoted, and we're being so boisterous about it, and we're very opinionated about it.
Sure.
And I'm confused. Like, is this us as our culture, or is this a community thing? Is this like, what is this like? Because I don't want to just say, oh, this is us culturally. We've been at this place and this, and we're here.
Okay,
here.
okay. Mm-hmm.
I want to say, I want to say, I don't know if it's true that it's circumstantial. So what our community is. And
you're saying the conversation and the way it's being had is okay. I just want to clarify.
To add to that, I hate when people say, I never see white people having this conversation. Like you are privy to white people conversation all the time, or their communities. So that's a whole nother thing. But I totally understand what you're saying, because I think that too. Like, is this what we're talking about right now, or is everybody? I don't hear everybody. I'm listening and well on functioning in my our people things, right?
Okay, right.
So I do want to know that also. That's a good question.
That's a great question. So two things are coming up. One, I love the point you made about like as if you're privy to white people's conversations all the time.
Right.
You're not. We the only people that don't gatekeep our culture. Another conversation for another day. But
right. That's all this podcast right there.
That's We'll see you next week.
This is the best one,
so there's that. We think we know what other people are doing or not doing. We don't.
Right.
The other side of that is, if we are correct in that they're not having these conversations, it's because they were not ripped away from their traditions.
Let's go.
They were not ripped away from their understanding. We've always had to try to create our context inside of someone else's. And whenever you're doing that, going back to what I've been saying this whole time, when you expect somebody to fit their stuff inside of your story, it's going to be confusion every time. So now our culture, our understandings, the way we relate to one another, trying to fit that inside of a context that was never ours.
Right, that's a fact.
So we're confused, and we're publicly trying to work it through and figure it out.
Okay.
So that's what you're witnessing.
Yeah, that's what's going on right now.
That's what you're witnessing
right now.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get into the meta of the conversation.
Yeah.
So what you're witnessing is us trying to figure out how to fit our own experience inside of a context that never belonged to us. Because even when there was a time when we tried to marry, we weren't allowed to. It was literally illegal. Yeah. This is where the whole jumping the broom and all that came from. We had to relegate ourselves to certain practices to signify that this is what we were doing, because it was not legally recognized as that's what we're doing. So again, we're literally trying to fit our experience inside of a context that was designed to shut us out of it.
Exactly.
This
was never built
It was
for
an
us.
institution put into place to provide economics, the stability. We were never given access to economic. We were the economy.
Right. Right.
So in this country, marriage was an institution put into place to secure and perpetuate economic stability. We were not ever given access to that. It was never designed as something we were supposed to benefit from. So we're trying to fit our experience of being together and building together inside of a context that was never designed to hold what we have. So that's the first thing. So the second thing is, now what you see in these conversations is us trying to work through that and figure out how to do it. Because the point is, we love each other, we want each other, we just can't get on the same page about how to do it. That's why we out here hollering at each other about what we bring to the table and talking about stupid shit. So now here's what I love about what you said, because inside of that, because we're trying to fit our experience inside of a context, we're trying to universalize what it's supposed to be. Men are this and women are that. I don't give a shit what men are. I'm talking about me and you, sir.
Right.
So instead of me, this is now we're connecting the dots. Remember, we've been talking about, I came into this with a whole checklist of what a marriage is supposed to be and what you need to be to fit inside my story of what this is supposed. Okay, this is where it starts. It starts with, I think a man is this. So I came in with a checklist of what a man is, and now I'm measuring you against a checklist. As opposed to seeing you for who you are, understanding who I am, being clear about where I'm going, and seeing if what you bring complements so we can get on this journey together.
Right.
Because what I'm saying is I know who I am and I know where I'm going, and I know I want to go somewhere. I want somebody to go with me. We talk about go together. That's what we're doing. We go together.
Right.
Oh,
Where are we going?
Oh, so, yeah,
We go together. So where are we going? That's what my mom used to do to me all the time. I'm like, we go together. They go together. Where they going?
Yeah, where they going? They go together.
Where they going?
So if we go together, where are we going?
Where are we going?
And if neither one of us has clarity about that, then how are we determining that we should be going together?
And why? Yeah, why are we?
How are we determining that? If I don't know where I'm going, you don't know where you're going, but we saying we going together, how are we determining where we're going to end up?
Yeah.
Right? So
Just starting off
now
on the wrong
I'm
foot.
sitting at the table. I'm sitting here across from you at the table, asking you what you bring to the table, and then trying to measure your answer against something that I thought I was supposed to already know when I came in here before I even met you. I ain't ever met you, and I already telling you what you supposed to be and not supposed to be, and how you don't measure up to what that. That's crazy.
And not even taking into consideration your experiences in life.
And beyond that, so the joy, the beauty that you do bring, the jewels that you do bring, the opportunities that you are inviting me to grow and to have new experiences and expand my understanding, all that I'm missing it because I'm looking for you to fit inside of this checklist that I think is supposed to be a man, or this checklist that I think is a woman is supposed to. So if we stop having this conversation where we universally define what one another is supposed to be and sit across from a human being and say, tell me the truth of who you are, and and thank you for trusting me to hold the space for you to be that.
Yeah.
When I sit across from you and say, instead of me telling you who I think who you're supposed to be, what if I just hold space for all of who you are? Boom. And then when you show up as who you are, can I say, is this somebody I can go on a journey with forever to continue the path to becoming even more of what I see already before me? Can I do that?
Dude, it's so
Can
dope.
I do that? While I know I'm still on my journey, do you feel like somebody I can trust to hold me during the vulnerable moments where I have to stand here before you and show you all of who I am?
Well, and have I created a person in me that can come to a table where somebody is comfortable to be themselves?
So that's what I'm saying. So while we talking about all of that, so what I'm asking you to, but here's the ironic part that's literally just coming up for me right now in this moment. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Because this is crazy, because if I'm asking you, what do you bring to the table? That means I'm literally saying, unpack your picnic basket right here. I want to see what's in it.
Yeah.
But when you do that, then I'm like, ooh, no, I can't have it. My bad. I don't want it. Well, then why would you ask me to pack?
Oh, you put that in your basket?
Why would you ask me to unpack my picnic basket if all you was going to do was judge me for what's in it? Why would I unpack that and now you mad because I don't want to open up? Well,
you just shitted on me.
As if
you just shitted on me. You don't like apples. You eat apples again? Like,
it's almost. I mean,
wow.
It's almost like
that's
why
crazy.
show up?
That's crazy.
A lot of us are showing up with an idea of what my next woman should be. Not me. I'm saying like my woman should be like, or what my
exactly
man looks like and what he is, right?
Yep.
And then, first of all, that's a wild thing to have these list of like, because a lot and
we got to go back to what she said. I just said it myself, so I don't remember. Go
ahead. In these modern times, what happens is we talk about the table and what you bring to the table. Mm-hmm. A lot of us are speaking tangibles, right? The problem about tangibles is that it's always somebody with tangibles, and there's always somebody with more tangibles.
Correct.
Right? And that's not really, there's kind of very common things we're looking for at this table. We're having a discussion about like, okay, money, and then you'll disguise it with security word, right? So I'm looking for security. I'm looking for, you know what I mean? Like these different things, which I'm not saying that security is bad. I'm just saying like we have these things we're looking for that society is teaching us that these are the things you should look for. Right. Never go half. Make sure your man got money. Make sure she don't have no male friends, and all these silly things, right? Ridiculous things, right? Mm-hmm. And they're moving in the space of like, here's a checklist. Kind of, I remember when I don't know if y'all remember, but Chili from TLC had a reality show.
Oh, I remember this.
And she read her list.
Yeah, I remember that.
What her man should be.
Yeah,
and everybody thought it was insane.
Everybody
I
was
that
like,
list is
"Girl, bye."
crazy.
Yeah,
You're
I
never
remember
gonna
that.
find all these things. And she ended up liking Floyd Mayweather. Whole other conversation.
Oh!
But it's a whole other conversation. But
No, Floyd caught her straight.
no, but that's a whole other conversation.
Damn. All right.
But what
She
I'm
threw the
saying-
list away.
That's crazy.
What I'm
Spent
saying
all
is-
that time writing a list and
Right.
was like, Kobe.
Right, you know
She
what I'm
said,
saying?
this list,
That shit to the trash.
are billions.
Right. Let's try Floyd Mayweather. So,
Yo.
but
Man, that's
We'll throw our
crazy.
list away.
Or-
that
like,
thing.
Yes.
I mean,
but they bring that list up, be like, okay, or what?
Because I'm going to
Because
say.
you got an or.
Because here's the thing, and that's where I don't have an or. There is not an or in the world that would stop me from moving towards what I'm clear God told me is for me.
boom.
There is not an or in the world.
Oh, well, here's the first problem though. You said what God told me was for me.
Yeah,
They skipping that step.
correct. I'm clear.
They-
I'm
so
just
it's
saying
like-
when
For
your
sure.
metrics,
Yeah.
there is no or
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah, exactly,
There's
right.
no or for me.
Yeah.
I'm not coming in with a list, but I know whatever you bring can't be distracting me from that. So
you
if
let-
it's doing that,
if you let God lead, you cannot go wrong. Wherever that is, you cannot go wrong.
Okay.
The problem is people aren't letting them, and then they say they let them, and then they become impatient with what God, all knowing, all perfect, is doing.
Right. And that's such a bar.
Here's the thing, one thing I learned about life in general, right? In the morning, one thing I pray for is I ask God for thank you for doors opening and the doors that closed.
Right.
Right. And the reason why I pray for both is because it's the times I wanted things or wanted to be places or wanted to have things or be cool with people or want this girl, whatever, that God was like, that wasn't for you. And you may not understand it and lean not on your understanding. First of all, I told you that, first of all.
I said that.
I said that, right?
In the song.
Right. So, I realized in life, growing up, being older, growing up, looking at life differently, like, oh, thank you, God, for saving me from that.
Right.
Thank you. I wanted that, and I see how bad that would have did me in whatever kind of way, right? So,
But that's why God is good at all the time. All the time, God is good.
To Joy's point, if you let him lead, right? You won't. There's no or. There's no option for the or. But I think a lot of us are moving in the space of like, I know what I want, and then I know what society tells me I should have, and then, oh, the nigga fine. So, and he got money, or she cooks and cleans, and got a big booty, or the men tell themselves, oh, she don't argue. It's some other things you can be mad at, and maybe not argue. Maybe she don't argue, but some other things that you probably don't like. Or the same thing for the women who like a certain kind of man. So this goes all the way back to our original topic of having a blurry sense of a vision of what marriage is or what you want out of life or your partner.
Not even what marriage is, because nobody really knows.
Right.
But specifically, why whatever you think it is
Yeah, that.
is the vehicle that you want to get in, right? Like whatever you think it is, why do you think that's a necessary step for you?
And the root of this
Can
whole
y'all just go
conversation-
together forever, or y'all got to like, why does marriage feel?
The root of this whole conversation, in my opinion, is do the work on you first. We can figure out the rest of this stuff.
But this is what I'm trying to get you to see. And here's what I'm clear about right now. I've seen as much of myself as I'm going to see. When you stand up and you look down, you can only see so much.
For sure.
The work that we get to do to go to our next highest level is going to come from being in community in spaces where people reflect us back to ourselves.
So some type of
And
trial and error.
yeah. So when you talk about,
I like that.
so this is why because a lot of times people will come into me and be like, well, I'm doing the work. Well, you got to come to me whole. You can't.
Well, yeah,
You can't.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with
I'm clear
that. You
that
gotta
I
come to me
need
whole.
my partner.
Your non-whole self speaking that.
But what I'm saying is people justify staying in the recesses of doing what I'm doing the work. I'm working on me before I get into, and this is a very common thing for a lot of folks, but especially men, right? I'm getting myself together. I'm working on my career. I need to be where I'm going to be first, which I understand that. But here's what we're missing.
That's not why men do that, though.
I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is, when we think that we are doing our work in isolation, what we're missing is the opportunity to have the relationships that are going to show us what we can't see.
Because we are by ourselves. You're right.
And that Now we're getting into he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yeah.
Not because she's got to do all the performative duties of what we think a wife is and therefore she's a good thing, but because what she's going to do is show you the parts of you that you can't see on your own, and is going to invite you to the levels that you can't get to by yourself. And if she can hold the space while you grow, you're going to be a greater version of you than you could have ever been on your own. Yeah, if you 100%. Choose the right one.
Because I've definitely been in a relationship. I've definitely been with my wife. I've told myself the many ways she has made me better as a man that I could not have done on my own.
That you made yourself better because she showed you and gave you opportunities and by inviting you to that. And then holding the space and being patient with you and understanding and forgiving while you did that work. She can't make you nothing you don't want to be.
So where did we get that? Where did we get that? The whole I guess social media has taught us everything. Not literally, but I'm saying where did we get that whole come to me whole?
Well, let's get to the picnic basket thing. So look, the picnic basket. I bring my picnic basket to the table. And like you said, how do we ask somebody to reveal who they are?
Right.
And then say, I don't like these things. Like I reject them.
Sure.
What do we say to the person that has revealed, man or woman, either, that has revealed their picnic basket 4 or 5 times, and now they've been rejected or they've been shitted on this many times, and now they're hurt or I don't want to know if it's hurt.
Yeah.
Or now they're fearful to.
And I'm not doing that again.
To share now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so how does that healing come about? You know what I mean? Like, not only how does that healing come about, but how do we protect that shit? You know what I mean? Like,
how do we protect ourselves from opening our picnic baskets to people who can't appreciate our snacks? That's what you're saying?
No. How do we protect ourselves from putting so much thought into what somebody believes about what we bring to the table?
That.
Okay.
Oh, I open my picnic basket and you don't like apples, so you judge me for having apples? Oh, okay. I still like apples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The end.
And somebody will like apples.
I don't have to internalize your experience of me. Remember I said earlier, come on, bring it back around. Remember I said earlier, whatever you feel when I'm here is what I do. Mm-hmm. And I said, I recognize that there will be some people who will not feel pleasant things when I'm around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
If anything that I'm saying right now is making you feel a way about me, because I am the vessel that is delivering the message. So you're projecting what you feel onto me instead of dealing with it because I'm just showing you. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to internalize that. I'm just opening my basket and pulling out my apples. And I'm enjoying these apples because I'm learning a lot from myself as God speaks to and through me in this conversation. So if you don't like apples, that's okay. Set them right there. I'll eat them later.
And I guess the thing about maybe, if I open my basket 5 times, right? And you start to tell yourself like, man, I keep showing people, but it's like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a lot. I know it's about perspective of how we feel about that, but also,
let me say this.
Open that basket a little slower.
Oh, but no, and that's important. That's what I was gonna say. So this is what I was gonna say. This is important because this is how we get wisdom from those lived experiences. If I open my basket 5 times and 5 times I'm rejected, I'm gonna start being like, well, let me find the people who like apples. Because I feel like every time I put my apples out, the people that I'm currently around are not with the apples.
Yeah.
So now I'm not. But here's the thing. But I know there's somebody out here like apples.
There's this grocery store for a reason.
And sometimes I go and they ain't got none. So somebody else buying these apples, right? So now, if I understand that, I'm going to be, to your point, I'm going to be slower to open my basket. Now, maybe when I sit at the table and you ask me what I bring, before I open my basket, I might ask, so how you feel about apples? Before I have to expose myself to whatever harmful thing. Before I have to expose myself to whatever harmful thing you might say or do to me as a result of seeing what I have in my basket, let me see if I can see what you think about what I have in my basket before I show it to you and have to expose myself to the harmful reaction you might have. And that is because I've learned from my own lived experience from having opened my basket to too many people that sometimes when I reveal what I have, a lot of people are not ready for it. So let me see if I can do a better job of vetting people to see if they can handle what I have before I just give it to them.
Before I can get them to this table.
Before I give it to them, let me see if I can vet them better for can determine if they can handle what I have. That becomes how much more intentional am I being about the ways in which I choose who I align myself with, who I sit at the table with. That's about me applying wisdom to my own journey about how or who I engage with.
Because how many times, and I hate to, for lack of a better term, how many times am I going to waste my own time?
Correct.
Right.
I'm going to keep opening my basket and keep getting my feelings hurt when people keep telling me. But the thing is, I'm going to the same spot to find a new person that like apples when everybody in this neighborhood already told me they don't eat apples.
No, you in the orange orchard. What you doing?
What are we doing?
What you
Trying to sell your apples. Get out.
Let me, Joy,
You in Circus Valley.
I got to read that super chat too.
What is going on?
But let me ask Joy a question real quick.
Okay,
The super chat, and then we're going to pretty much probably wrap it up after this sometime. I know we've been here for a while, but I heard someone say on Instagram,
on the Instagram,
they're bringing up a topic about why are people attracted to married men or married women?
Oh, that's easy.
And the guy was saying, and I want to know what you think about this, because I thought it was interesting.
Easy.
I was like, I never looked at it like that. But they said, in short, because I don't want to butcher what he was saying.
Sure, of course.
In short, people are attracted to a finished product.
Okay.
So for example, if you're watching, who people think, quote unquote, think is a great example of a couple, whatever couple this is.
Whoever,
maybe Tab and her husband, whatever, Tab, or
Tab and Chance.
Tab and Chance, right? So you may look at them and be like, man, faithful husband, faithful wife, did it together, both making their money, vegans, smiling, doing good for the community, black, loving each other, loving their kids, all these things. So a woman will look at Chance like I want a good man who's a faithful man, who's a loyal man, and then try to, DM her all these things because she's tired of doing the work, finding somebody, seeing if it's gonna work out, dating parties, gonna cheat, she sees him as a finished product, somebody who's learned it. So they've done the work on each other. They've been in a very long relationship,
right?
And they're at a point where, to the viewer, life is good.
Right.
He's faithful, loyal, and same thing for her.
Sure.
So he basically was saying that. So people are attracted to a finished product. So I can bypass myself some pain by dealing with somebody who's loyal already, who's successful now, and all these things. Would you find that to be? Okay.
So I can see that perspective, and I don't disagree with it. Here's what I would add for more context. You ever been like, you know what? I need some new sunglasses and I know exactly the pair that I want. And you go to search for those sunglasses, but before you click buy, you read the reviews?
Yes.
Let me make sure. How fast do they ship? Are they going to break?
The quality.
Do people, all of that. What the people saying that who have experienced already this thing that I desire?
Right.
What do the people who have already experienced it have to say about this thing? And that determines if you buy it or not. Right?
100%.
So you've already tested this product, and you based on what I see about what y'all do, you saying it's a good product.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So I want to buy it.
Right.
Then.
Yeah.
Right? And so what's happening is what we forget, and this is now going back to what I said earlier, 1 + 1 is 3. What you're looking at is the relationship.
Yeah.
And you're thinking that because you see the 3, the relationship, the thing that they've cultivated between them, that if you take 1, you're going to get that same thing. But what you forgot is you got to bring your 1 because it's 1 + 1 is 3. You're seeing the 3 and thinking if you subtract the 1 and add it to your 1, you're going to get that same 3. But what you're not seeing is that somebody who's willing to do that is not the one that's going to bring out the best in him. That's going to create the 3 that you thought you wanted.
100%.
And maybe the one that was the more valuable one is the one getting left.
And it's not even about more value. It's about how does our value interact with each other to create the experience of what everybody else is witnessing.
Yeah,
how does what you bring? No, exactly, and it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
How does what you bring interact with what I bring, and then how does that produce the experience that other people are witnessing? Now, if I could take you and put you with a whole other person, and what you're going to create is not what you and Chaz have.
For sure, 100%.
Doesn't mean that it won't be
100%.
good. It can't be good. It means that it won't be that.
100%.
So people think that I see what you have with them, and if I get with you, we gonna create that. No, you're not, because you're not me, sis.
Right.
You can never have what I had with him. And I'm not even saying he can't be happy, you can't be happy. What I'm saying is what you saw in us and thought you was going to get with him,
you're not going to get
you're
that.
not, because you're not me.
You're not me.
And the sooner you see that, the sooner you can get to whatever happy it is you think you want. Because you're not going to get what I got with nobody.
The dangerous thing
Nobody
is
is
they move on it.
Period.
Nobody. Yeah, that's the dangerous part is they'll move on that. It's like
Absolutely
the
they
math
will.
is like the math is the math. You are not that woman or that man. So
Period. So you're
it's
not going to
gonna be
get what you
think it's gonna
see.
be.
You're not going to get what you see them having with somebody else because you're not that somebody else. You're
And,
you.
Yeah, you don't. And
And
you
you
don't
know
see them behind closed doors.
The common
either.
sense
You're
thing is
you.
also is that, well, if he did leave her for you, what does that make him? It's not the idea of what you wanted.
Whatever you thought you were getting is not the product.
It's not
Exactly.
the product.
Somebody lied in the reviews.
Right. Somebody lied
got
in the
paid
reviews.
to leave a good review.
Exactly.
And you got a shitty product. You know, just as a quick sidebar, I read a report that said $1.3 billion in just bunk sales off of people buying shit off Instagram from these fake boutiques and shit like that. $1.3 billion. A lot of people out here getting lied to about the products they get.
billion?
Right.
Bill, and that's just in 2023. We still waiting on the 2024 report.
Right.
That's just in 2023.
Right.
That's just.
And
I don't
those-
even know what it was in the
Those
penny.
are the people also walking around, like you said, with the mask on, trying to be something that they think you want to see, and it's not even them. You're believing the lie.
Crazy.
You're chasing the lie. Okay, so super chat.
I see some chat.
Thank you, Tafashe. Salute Rios.
Wait. Who?
Tafashe.
One more time.
Tafashe?
Tafashe.
Okay.
Oh, Tafashe. Tafashe. Salute Rios,
You said it
Lucc,
wrong.
and Dr. Joy. I was watching Joe Budden podcast, and one of the hosts mentioned they were 2 times divorced. Is being divorced a worse stigma? Being a worse stigma than a baby mama, baby daddy. Being 2 times divorced, is it a worse stigma than baby mama, baby daddy?
That's all about perspective, right?
Yeah, I'm about to say.
For some people, that could be like, well, you know, you still trying, right? You still getting up, showing up. Still, there's somebody who can look at that and say, wow, the resilience and the willingness to continue to open your heart to love and the prospect of forever is really admirable, right? Like somebody could look at that and say that.
I like that.
Somebody could look at that and say that,
That's for sure.
right?
I need that.
Yeah, I need to write that down.
Like somebody could look at that and be like, wow, you know
Yeah.
what? I can't imagine divorce must be really hard. And I can't imagine you still have the willingness to show up and be open to receiving that kind of love again. There's a person who could say it, or there's a person who could look at that and be like, you clearly don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't want no parts of it. And both of those would be valid perspectives to hold.
Right.
Right.
That's good.
And so it's just really a matter of, again, this is why I'm saying we try to create all these universal rules that we try to apply to folks. And well, if you got divorced this many times, that means you must be no good. So I can't, instead of sitting with the person across from you and saying, okay, who are you right now as a result of those experiences, and what you bring to this moment that we're inside of, does that signal to me that I would want to continue sharing moments with you for however long?
Right.
Doesn't mean forever,
Yeah.
but for however long, right? Can I be open to that? And if it is my intention for forever, then what are the questions I'm asking myself to help me assess whether or not you make sense for me, not because of some rule about who you have to be or the experiences that you've had and what that means about who you are, but because I'm clear about who I am and what I know I need to feel supported along the way to where I'm going. And if I can be that for you based on what I see that you need or you tell me you need, do we make sense? Not because of rules that somebody else created about who you're supposed to be, or not because of an assumption I'm making about who you are because of what you've been through. Not because of that, but because of who you're showing me you are right now. Can I be present with that? Can I check in with myself to see how that feels based on who I know I am? And then can I make a decision about whether or not I want to keep having moments with you over and over and over again? Can I do that? Can we stop with all the rest of the noise? Can I look at you for who you are right now and say, do I want to share another moment with you? Sure, let's meet up again tomorrow. Cool. Do I want to share another moment with you? Yeah, how's Saturday night? Cool. Do I want to share another moment with you? Yeah, maybe Thursday breakfast? Cool. Do I want to share another moment with you? Yeah, this is not feeling like, I don't think I can do this anymore. The moments we've had thus far are starting to be, okay, well, what's that in me? Am I starting to feel, I don't know. Okay. Oh no, it's really just starting to feel that way because I'm getting scared because I'm actually been spending a lot of moments with this person and I'm starting to get vulnerable because I'm catching feelings and I don't know what to do with that. So now I might be trying to run and self-sabotage, but if that's what's going on and I don't want to do that anymore, maybe I can make a new choice right now and I can lean into this vulnerability and say, okay, I'm opening myself up to a new experience. And that's scary a little bit. And I find myself wanting to run because that's what I typically do, but I don't want to do that. So how can I show up right now? What's a way that I can show up that makes me feel safe? Maybe we pause on seeing each other in person. We just keep talking on the phone because I want to stay connected. But the vulnerability of showing up in person is causing me to feel things that I can't handle right now. And I don't want to run and sabotage this. So here's what I need to feel safe continuing. But it's understanding who I am, what I need, and what is happening here, and then being able to make conscious choices inside of that based on where I know I'm going, not based on where I've already been.
Right. That's good.
And then giving you the space to do the same thing.
Right.
Without judging you.
And getting out of
That's
that
good.
perspective of generalizations. You know what I mean? Like generalizing all BMs, baby daddies, all divorcees.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
that universal rule,
yeah.
because you did this, because
Yeah.
you've been through that, because you've
Yeah.
seen it, it's too much.
too
Because
much.
what if somebody did that to you?
Right.
And it
What if
means
somebody
what?
pulled back your curtain and said, "Oh, because you did that"? Maybe I don't have the same type of. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. You got a bunch of kids, but maybe you got a bunch of abortions.
Right.
So you don't have the outward evidence
Shoot.
that people can easily access and judge. But if somebody pulled back your curtain and told your story and then judged you for it, how would you feel?
Right. That's a tough one right there.
Yes.
That's
I'm
a
not,
very
and I'm
tough
not
one.
shaming people
No,
who have had
for sure.
abortions. What
Right.
I'm saying is, you might not have the outward evidence that makes it easy for people to judge your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might not be written on your forehead.
It might not be
Yeah.
that you got all this stuff out here that people can witness, right? Everybody doesn't have that tangible equity to
Yeah.
be able to measure the choices you've made because of the consequences that are now visible to them and then judge you as a result of that. Maybe you don't have that, but you got stuff.
You got
Right.
stuff.
And if somebody pulled back your curtain and then decided to judge you right now for the stuff that you've overcome, been through, and hopefully learned from, and then tell you that because those things happen, because you made those choices, you're not worthy of love,
Right. So
how
I'm
would
just
you
done.
feel if somebody did that to you?
Right. Right. Oh, I'm just done. I'm just
Just count me out,
chopped
huh?
liver over here.
Just count me out, because I done been through some things. Even though I'm still sinning, I done been through some things, and because now you have evidence of what I've been through, because maybe I peeled back the top of my picnic basket and I trusted you enough to show you. Now you judging me for it. Now I'm not worthy of love. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
really crazy.
It's like reading the end of
and
book.
you know
like
what?
reading the
If
end of
that's
my
how
book
you feel,
and then tell you
yeah.
what my life is like.
Yeah, and you
then
know,
only
and if
judge
that's
you
how
based
you
off one
feel,
bad thing
you read
and all the great
read
things
the end
that
of my
you've
book and
done.
tell me what.
and
You were
here's the
talking about
thing.
that.
And here's the thing. If that is the case, if I trusted you enough to peel back the lid of my picnic basket and then you looked in there and judged me as a result of that, what that tells me is you're not my people.
You're not my people.
And that's okay.
Boom.
That's okay.
We
That's
got
all
one more
right.
question. And this is the last super chat that will take GFS Blackout.
Okay.
Why does divorce hit different between men and women? I actually don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think it's just it's too many variables with divorce anyway. Why someone got divorced? What happened? What kind of people?
yeah,
they are,
but,
you know.
but apart from all that, I think that and I don't know, GFS what's it, Blackout?
GFS Blackout.
I don't know here's what I would say, going back to my sociology hat, right? Looking at big picture. It hits different because the expectation and the narrative is different, right? First of all, we view divorce as a failure, right? And many times people internalize that failure. And in our certain construct and understanding of what marriage is, if a man is supposed to be the lead in that, then he's going to feel like it's
he's the
his fault
failure.
that he
He's the
failed
failure.
because I was supposed to lead us into eternity and I could not do that. So he's going to internalize that maybe in a different way. Whereas a woman might feel like, well, I failed because I wasn't good enough for him. So she's going to internalize that in a different way.
and nowadays,
Or
like, it'd be
whatever.
different.
So it's really about the story. Going back to that story,
Yeah.
we tell ourselves about why it didn't work out is going to determine. But there are social narratives that inform the story. If I thought I was supposed to be the one to lead us and I couldn't do that and I failed, or if we divorced because I cheated, or if we divorced because I did a thing, and I'm internalizing that as we failed because I am a failure. Difference, we failed versus I am a failure. Two different
Right,
statements.
right.
If I internalize that and I tell myself that it's because I am a failure, and the story of the world is that as the man I was supposed to lead us, or as the woman I was supposed to do what I was supposed to make him feel safe, I was supposed to stroke his ego in all the ways I was, whatever the hell we're told, right? If I failed at that and I internalize that narrative, it's going to hit differently for the man who perceives himself to have failed what he was supposed to do.
Right. Oh yeah, there is a lot of variables because then you could think about if because I don't know how he's asking this question. Actually.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard, but
It's kind of broad.
Yeah,
You know.
but then you can say like, oh well, it's different for a man because he's going to get something taken from him, and maybe
There's also
something's going to be
that.
provided for the woman.
There's also that.
Maybe like it's so many. That's
There's
a
also
wide
that.
question. You know what I mean?
There's also that. The ramifications of what happens on the other side of that divorce is gonna hit different.
Right.
Depends. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Joy.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. I do want to. I'm sorry.
Let's go. Go, love.
Because I was thinking about this, and I was supposed to ask this way earlier in the beginning.
Right.
But you and I were on a bike ride again.
We be out here.
And I don't want to butcher this, so I'm gonna bring it up. I hope you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You were explaining to me how love, the feeling of love, is kind of like it's the same feeling as like a drug or
yes. Okay.
we talk, okay, you know what I'm
what you're talking about.
Okay, I want you to break that down to Rios. I didn't tell him because I was gonna butcher it like I would have did right in front of you now. But you was breaking that down, the feeling of love and how it's kind of like the same as you know.
So a lot of times, and this is kind of going back to our level of familiarity and comfort when it comes to holding our emotional experiences. And this is particularly true in the dynamic between men and women because we always assume that it has to be them romantic. Going back to the point you were making about guys who don't like their girl having male friends because you always assume there's a romantic thing when I can just appreciate the human being
For sure.
anyway. So what happens oftentimes is that I have an experience with you where maybe I saw a version of myself that I've never met before and I actually really like what I see. And so I'm grateful to you. Or I have an experience with you where you show me a version of myself where, ooh, I don't like that, but I'm ready to grow in that area. So I appreciate you showing me that.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's all these little moments where we have, and what's happening is because we're encountering all these different mirrors. When somebody reflects something back to us about who we are that we like, that feels good, we then try to associate that experience with that person.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So that becomes, oh my God, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
Because this feeling I'm having right now that is facilitated by your presence in my life, this feeling that I'm having right now that is facilitated by your presence in my life, I'm now trying to make you the owner of that. So now I feel like I'm in love with you. I feel like I'm in love with you because something about how you show up allows me to access love inside of myself. And because you're the first person who did it like this, I think I'm in love with you.
I'm in love with the way you make me feel.
And so what happens is now once I make that attached to you, that's when the story, whatever story I hold about what it means to be in love, that's when it clicks on. Now I'm trying to perform and what I think I need, you need me to be for you. And now I'm trying to make you keep doing that thing to make me feel like love. Now we're in it. Now we're doing now that we're here, all the story. Instead of just being like, wow, thank you.
That was dope.
For showing up like that and allowing me to access love inside of myself in a new way that I haven't yet experienced. And now that you've taught me the way to get to that, I'm going to make myself responsible for continuing to access that part of me because that's what it means to be in love. When you say I am in love, what it means is I am existing in the space, in the vibration, in the energy of love right now. I am in love. So when I say I am in love with you, what I'm saying is this experience that I'm having, I am calling it love and you're present here with me in that. So I am in love with you. And when you leave, I can still choose to be in love.
Yeah, I'm just not in love with you.
I'm just no longer in love with you. You're not in it with me inside of this moment of the experience that I'm having, but I can still choose to be in love. If I think that my capacity to be in love is attached to you and you go away, that's why I feel broken up. That's why we say we broke up.
Dang,
because when you go away, if I said you're my object of affection, my love, my ability, my capacity to access the love that is already mine, if I attach that to you and I make you responsible for it when you go away or you don't show up in the same ways, you don't move how you used to move that helped me feel that way that I felt, now I'm looking at you and saying, you tripping.
Yeah, because you like, wait, so you don't feel like that? You don't feel like I feel about that? That's why if you don't call for 2 days or whatever, you go away something, somebody's so distraught because they're like, wait, how don't you feel like I feel
because
about when we're
that
separate?
means that my ability to feel this thing that I feel and I like so much is attached to you, and when you don't do it, it's your fault.
Yeah, and then that's shit. And that's why some people react in anger and violence.
And they go crazy.
Because they are so attached to that.
Because I'm making you responsible for my ability to. I'm making you responsible for my ability to access the highest vibration there is, which is love.
And I'm and I'm the owner of that.
Yeah.
I'm making you the key to that. I can't access that in me.
So what do you mean it's not your
here.
fault? So what do you mean it's not your fault?
Shit, that's dangerous.
That's crazy.
Like I'm not even trying to go. Because you giving so much power to somebody, and then you start thinking about it like shit. Somebody else is about to have that with you. I don't want them to have. I need that over there with me.
Then there's that.
And you're giving power to somebody who never asked for that.
Right.
They never asked for that kind of power in your life.
That's why he enjoyed phone like, well, who was Terrence? He's like, nigga, Terrence.
What are we talking about?
A fucking GI element.
Knock it completely off.
Like what?
So
but what I'm saying is that attachment, because that person also start making stories up, creating these things, scenarios.
Exactly. So the conversation that you and I were having that day, what I was naming is if we can stop. Because this is where we came from. I remember specifically, I was telling you I learned languages for fun, right? Like it's like, and what I've understood about learning different languages is that most other languages.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. I remember.
A lot of other languages are highly nuanced.
Okay.
So one example that I always use is easy accessible. If I'm speaking English, I'm like, turn left. I just left. Oh no, I left that over there. Mm-hmm. LEFT, all situations.
Right, yeah.
The context of the situation helps you understand what left meant.
Right.
In French, for instance, all those lefts are a different word. By themselves, without the context of the sentence and situation, it's a different word every time.
Okay.
Greek, there's several words for love. 5 are very common. They speak to brotherly love. Mm-hmm. The love between a parent and a child. Okay. The love between friends. Okay. The love between you and your lover, your romantic partner. The love between you and God or your spiritual guide. Mm-hmm. And each of those words is different. Dang. It's eros love. Mm-hmm. It's all these different love. Agape love, right? We hear about this in the Bible. That's the love between us and God. That's a Greek word. Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. For that specific relationship.
Yeah.
Where we experience that type of love. In English, if I say I love you, I love you. If I say, oh, I love your shoes. Oh, I love pizza. It's all one word.
One word, yeah.
So we don't have, in English, we don't have access to the language that helps us identify the nuance of our experience. So when I have that experience with you and you unlock that inside of me, all I know how to say is I love you.
Yeah.
And if this is now we're going back to the context of the social realm, if I say that, if you unlock something in me and I'm like, wow, and that feels like love, and that's the only language I have to describe that, and now you happen to be a dude that you're also kind of cute. Yeah. Now I think we got to go together.
Right. And also,
now I think I got to try to make this into eros love.
But you're also attached.
I don't know how to just appreciate your friendship.
Because in America, you're attaching that love, the word love, to everything else you learned here about love, what it looks like in the movies. What it looks like in film.
This is why I'm saying we had an experience. You unlocked something in me. I only have limited language to express what that is, the nuance of this feeling. And now with that limited language, I have limited understanding. And that understanding is informed by all these dominant narratives about what this is supposed to look like. And in the moment that you unlock the experience of love in me through some interaction that we have, and I started assigning that to it, all that other stuff floods in and it starts to change how I show up, which is often why people have great relationships up until their marriage, and then the wedding happens and something changes, because enter the new story of what a wife is supposed to be, what a husband is supposed to be. Yeah. And now you're changing the story, because when we were just friends, just going together, all this was cool. And we was like, yeah, we should do this. And then we got married, and no. you just turned the page.
Yeah.
Now you're a wife.
Pressures.
And
Here.
these things, now a wife has to do this. And you're like, I didn't, what, who? And then this is why people been together 15 years and they get married and annul it in 6 months. And you're like, what? How did you make it that far for that long to get here to do that?
Then it's over.
Because of that.
You start performative. You got
You
performative.
started.
You got doing
So
things. Yep.
so we. So my
Broke that down,
suggestion. My suggestion in this. Thank you for bringing this up because this is important for me, even in this season of my life. My suggestion for us to break free from that cycle, which is something that we're all impacted by in some way or another, whether we hold those beliefs or we are impacted by the people who project them onto us, right? Is to be able to hold the space for our feelings and get so familiar with them that we can call them by name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that when I feel gratitude for the way you just showed me a part of me that I could not have seen without you, I can appreciate that without trying to turn it into something else.
Right.
Now, if it's going to be that, it's going to be that anyway. I don't got to force it.
Yeah.
It's just going to
Yeah,
be
right.
Yeah, if you're meant to be the mirror that continues to show me parts of myself for the rest of our lives, and that's what we're supposed to do together, then we're going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if we both keep checking in and saying, "Do I want to keep having another moment with you?" and we keep both saying yes to that, then that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. We constantly making a choice to do that anyway.
We're choosing to be in each other's lives
Yeah.
forever, being a mirror to show each other parts of ourselves that we wouldn't have seen without each other. That's what we're doing. I don't got to make you fit into some way of being for that to be the case. You're already doing it.
Forcing these relationships because we're connecting to that feeling.
Because we're trying to make it, we're trying to own it. We're trying to bottle it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
you made me feel like this, and I want it forever. Come and be that to me right now, just like this, for the rest of our lives.
It's like
because this feels really good.
It feels good, and I'm forcing
Mean
this
Girls.
shit.
I don't know if you ever seen the movie Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Remember the one kid you kept trying to start.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop
It's
trying
like
to make
that.
what?
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
She was trying to create a word to catch on, and it's
not gonna happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make fetch a
Nobody like that.
No one's gonna say it. Stop.
So she was consciously trying to make
it.
That's so fetch. Somebody said, stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's
That's
not
so
a thing.
hilarious,
Oh shit. Hey man, this is a great conversation, and it's a conversation that needs to be continued.
Yeah.
And a conversation that needs to be more normalized.
Sure.
Because I feel like I have 1,000 conversations in only one of these.
Yeah.
You know, and it shouldn't be that way. So I appreciate you for being open and sharing.
I'm like
Go.
I was the one last thing. I promise this is really
No,
last
it's
thing.
okay.
I have a very contentious relationship with the word should.
Say it again. What was it?
I have a contention relationship with the word should because that's a projection word.
Mm-hmm.
To say something should be a way other than what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know what it should be or shouldn't be? I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know. So what I hear you saying is what you're experiencing in this conversation feels good to you and you want to have more of that experience. So you get to call that in, you get to create that.
Right.
Does that mean it should be the case for everybody? No. Because there will be people who will hear this and reject everything we've said because they're not ready to hear this.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't land with the truth that they currently hold for themselves. And that's okay. So they're not going to say that we should be talking about this more. Somebody's going to hear this and think I'm an asshole.
But I think that even with that, that's a process that needed to be. They needed to hear what they didn't want to hear.
Fair. But here's the thing. Even if they needed it, doesn't mean they're ready for it.
Yeah.
But why do they have to be ready for it?
What? Again, remember I said earlier you gave your keys to a 5-year-old?
That's why.
So
you're going to give your car keys to a 5-year-old and then be mad when they crash the car?
So, but then we talk about divine stuff, right? So maybe they weren't ready for it. Maybe you ain't ready for it. But maybe then you continue that conversation and that thing that you weren't ready for helped that 5-year-old child next door.
So we have the conversations, but to say that there should be more of them for who? For you?
For the world.
For you.
No, so okay, this is I get what you're saying, but this is where I disagree because there shouldn't be so much evil stuff on TV.
Okay.
And that's what I truly believe.
Okay.
I think there should be more beautiful, loving stuff on TV.
Sure.
That's what I think should happen.
Why?
Because I think what is being projected people start internalizing and turning it into their reality. So I think if there was more love, more positive images of Black people on TV, people would internalize that and perception becomes reality and people would be treated better. Now, I'm not saying this has to happen, but it won't happen if we don't create more spaces like this.
I agree.
And so, yeah. And so it's not like a demand, but if we don't do it, if we don't take ownership of the opposite of what's being sold.
Yeah. So I'm going to stand my ground 10 toes on this one. What you saying is I'm agreeing with and enjoying this experience, and there should be more of this. And the part that you're not saying that I'm hearing is, because that's what I want.
Yes.
Right? Which is not, I don't, and I don't, to be fair, I don't disagree with you.
No, I agree
right?
with you.
The practice that I'm in is, can I hold my truth without projecting it onto others?
I see what you're saying.
Can I hold the truth that I believe that more of this would be good without saying then it should happen this way?
So how should it be? Should. So how? Yeah. What's the word then?
So that's what I'm saying. I really enjoy this. I want to do this more often. So I'm owning that that's my experience. I want more of this. I want to create more of this, and I want to experience more of this.
Just make it happen.
And I'm owning that and just making it happen without projecting that it should happen because somebody else also needs to hear it. I don't know what somebody else needs to hear.
Yeah.
But I do agree that I create the conversation and we put it out there so that the person who should hear it does and should, because that's the journey they're on, not because I said they should.
So when do you use should?
When I'm clear about
so
me.
Is only should only about you?
Yeah.
So you never use should in a term outside of what I do.
Right, because if we're driving along and we're going the same way, several blocks, and then all of a sudden you make a left and I go straight, am I going to say, no, he should have went straight? I don't know where you're going. I just know that for a long time, we was driving on the same road, going in the same direction. So when you do a thing that is apart from whatever journey I'm on, I don't get to assess that the thing you're doing is wrong. I don't know where you're going.
In the sense that we don't know what's good for somebody, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Or I don't, because now we have to understand that we're all playing different parts to the same picture. So I can't say what you should or should not do according to what I think is the end goal or end game for my own journey. What I'm saying you should do is about me trying to say you should go this way because this is the way that I'm going, because this is the way that's going to lead me to where I want to end up. I don't know where you want to end up. More specifically, I don't know how God is using you in this whole thing. This is why when we talk about God using murderers and all the other things, those people were never discounted or disqualified from what they were called to do.
They told him he shouldn't be with them because of how it would be perceived and who they were.
I can't project
I understand.
So if he shouldn't have been.
No. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that they were saying that.
They were saying he should not be with these people because he is the Messiah. He should not. And he like, well, where I'm supposed to be? What's the point?
I'm not saying
but that's what I'm saying is like, I get what I absolutely get what you're saying. And on a universal, grand, huge scale, but just in the sense of good, good is a basic.
Is it?
No. To me, it is like this tasted good to me. Is
that a universal? We just talked about people don't like apples. We just spent a whole section talking about that.
But there's more people that like, I should make more of these cookies. There might be more people that like these cookies.
Correct.
But the thing is, like, I don't know if we're putting too much of an emphasis on should, but if it's a positive thing, more people should experience positive things. There should be less people.
You are making the assessment that is positive is what I'm saying to you. So if you're saying I like these cookies, I should make more. You're saying I should make more cookies because I like these cookies. Now, if I share them and other people like them, fantastic.
Right.
But if I share them and other people don't like them, that doesn't mean I should not make them anymore. I should still make them because I like them.
But the thing is, if they don't like them and if one person liked them and 100 don't, the one was worth it.
Fair.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't, but what I'm saying is you still should make it because
but you don't understand what
Yeah.
I think that's what I mean too. Because she keeps saying no. I agree with you. But the step, what she also said is, if you just remove should, right? Because should is, if I say somebody should do something, that's something it only comes from me.
It's me projecting what I want on them.
Because even if what I'm saying is right, we don't even know that until something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know if it's a thing. If I say, "Oh, you know what? This podcast, this episode should be shown by millions of people," right?
Yeah.
And some people would argue, "Yeah, it was a good conversation," but that's just me saying that. What if they all hate it? And they all like, I hate that podcast. And George sucks and Lucc got terrible ideas. I'm like, well, damn.
The point is, I want you to. What I'm inviting you to is to own that the experience you're having is something that you believe gets to be shared. Yes. And that's it. And that you're saying, I want to do more of this with the intention of sharing it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. The end.
It's kind of, and
I agree.
Yeah. And like I should, you know what? Somebody should feed the homeless. No, nigga, you feed the homeless.
Yeah,
and then somebody would be feeding them.
The should be. Now I'm fucking up should.
Stop shooting all over yourself.
Stop shooting all over yourself.
I'm messing up the should. So should be ownership of your own actions. Should is an ownership of your own actions.
Yes.
Not ownership of what you perceive everybody else
exactly.
to do.
Because you asked me the question, when do I use the word should? Yeah. And I said, pertaining to myself.
My own actions.
So if I sit here after this and I reflect and I say, that felt really good, I should have more of these conversations. That makes sense.
That's really
because
really
what I'm saying is, based on my assessment of what this was and what how I perceive it to fit into the scope of my whole understanding of whatever, I should be present for more of these. Yeah. Which then leads me to, where are the spaces where these conversations are happening? Who are the people who are having these conversations? Where are the books? Where are the whatever that is?
It makes it more actionable.
And that leads me down the path of doing in alignment with who I say I am. But if I say these should happen more often, I'm detaching that from my experience and my responsibility.
I'm detaching from my ownership, saying this should happen more. All right, go on about your business. Instead of I should or I am
recognizing
going to do more of this, or I'm going to create more. I should do this. That's bomb.
That's it.
Because I think I use the word should probably a lot.
We all do, which is why I say I have a contentious relationship with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I use should, even as we were talking about should right now, right?
Yeah.
I think I use should twice.
You're like should, which is why I said stop shooting on yourself. That's the thing. When I tell you, let me tell you, I listen to people. Like that's literally it's what I get paid to do.
Yeah.
And I also said to you that I often hear what is not being said.
Right.
And I also said to you that I am a mirror and I reflect back to yourself. So when you use words that are not in alignment with what you've told me about who you want to be, it's my job to say, hey, hold on. I don't know if that's actually what you mean to say, because we now also understand the power of words.
Yeah.
Right? The power of life and death is in the tongue.
And so you said you have, say the relationship you have with should again? What did you say?
Just a contentious relationship.
A contentious relationship with the word should.
Because I understand what people mean, and so I try not to be nitpicky about it. But then I also understand, again, the power of words. And when I'm in the
you don't learn anything.
in the presence of people whom I trust that I have two things are happening. I trust that I have a wide enough, broad enough understanding of who you say you are and who you want to be. And I also trust that we have the type of relationship where when I say this to you, you can hold it without being offended.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Those two things have to be in place for me to speak up.
I think you just helped me big time right now, because it takes it like you throwing accountability on other people. It makes you hold yourself accountable to the words that you're saying when it's
correct.
Not we should. No, you should. You do what you say. You be what you want.
What you're expressing, and what you're expressing is that. What you're expressing is when you're saying we should, you're projecting onto all of us the feeling you're having while you're doing the thing that you're saying we should all do. And when I'm telling you, not everybody's going to experience this as that, and therefore saying that we should all have this is not going to be helpful for everybody. There might be the one that you're saying, And we, so we're like, that makes it all worth it. And maybe it does. But what I'm saying is, when you're saying we should, what you're doing is projecting onto other people and assuming that they will have the experience that you're having in this moment, and they might not.
Yeah.
So just say, I enjoy this. I should position myself to have more of these conversations. And because I see the value in them, I'm going to share them in hopes that somebody else who sees the value will get it. But I'm not doing it because I'm telling everybody they should.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I believe I should.
And then what Lucc had a great point. Now that I'm reflecting back on it, he said, just because people don't like it, are you going to say that I shouldn't do it? If you do it because
you're standing on who you are, and that's why I said it's integrity.
That's bomb.
You see what I'm saying? Thank you for being open to that.
No, that's bomb, because I've never even. I don't think anybody's even talked to me about the word.
I know.
Ever.
It's one of those little insidious. It's one of those little
bomb.
insidious words that really, again, because I understand and I respect the power of words, I am mindful and intentional about how I choose them when I'm communicating.
I love that.
Once you breathe life into a word and you say it out loud, you can't get that back.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Which is why we pause before we talk.
Look at me learning. Look at me growing in life.
Look at you. Look at you. Look at you.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Dr.
Thank
Joy,
you.
dropping gems throughout this whole
So many
podcast.
bars.
So many bars.
So many bars.
And helping me elevate, helping me understand. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course.
With me trying to understand what you were talking about, because I wasn't trying to be challenging.
Yeah.
I was just...
Because it'd be days for me to try to get him to understand something. So the fact you did it in record time...
It just talks to how good you are and how amazing you are.
Wow.
No, Joy, this has been awesome.
Yeah, thank
we
you.
appreciate you. I know people in the chat.
I wish I
they
could
should
see.
be blessed.
I see. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
No, but
y'all should be feeling blessed right about now.
But
I will say I hope you are. I don't know if you should be, but I do.
I
hope
love these
you
conversations.
Are.
You know, Joy, you already know.
Yeah.
To have you in spaces, I watch you in many spaces.
Yeah,
dropping gems and bars, and every time I've been in these spaces, people have left like, "Yo, she was dope. She's dope." So I'm glad to have you. I honor our space and honor our podcast by showing up and giving your real and being patient with us too, and especially since it's crazy because I talk about how my wife loves your spirit, right? Mm-hmm. And how you come into this space, and then me and Rios just open up about our marriages and where we should hold ourselves accountable. And because knowing that you provided a space, and also you provide a space that we trust the work that you've done, and are really hanging on to every word you're saying about what's actually going on, or what we're saying that we're not saying, or what that looks like, So this has just been really, really dope, man. We appreciate you, and with you, we already know this is an open door policy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely open door. You can replace Lucc.
The thing is, that's hilarious. That is so funny.
I'm dropping your Instagram there. People are asking what your Instagram.
Oh yeah,
how
you can find me on Instagram. I'm also. Can I just do a little plug?
Sure. Yeah, please.
Oh, we didn't even talk about. Dang it.
Oh, we can talk about it.
Black surfer girl.
Oh God, that's.
I wanted to talk
We'll
about.
talk about anything. We'll talk about. Let's
we
go.
Okay. Yeah, we can.
Give me your.
We can also come back.
This is her Instagram. It is Joy Hearts on Instagram.
Yes, I'm Joy Hearts on Instagram. I actually on 2/22 just launched my YouTube channel.
Oh, dope. Super dope.
So you can find me on YouTube at Hey Dr. Joy.
Fire.
And one episode is up, and we'll see. I'm doing a series called How to Reinvent Yourself, and it's me, as I mentioned briefly earlier, that I'm leaning more into my creative self, my creative voice.
Dope.
What is it?
It's Hey Dr. Joy. It should be Hey Dr. Joy.
You spell J-O-I?
J-O-I.
And is it Dr. D-O-C-T-O?
No, just D-R. Hey Dr. Joy. And I should come up. It's the same picture that I have on my Instagram with the yellow shirt of me smiling.
I'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it. But anyway, I'm doing a series called How to Reinvent Yourself. And it's really me sharing quite vulnerably about the lessons that I'm learning around leaning into my creative self.
Okay.
And having reinvented myself I went from personal trainer and own a fitness studio to Dr. Joy being a marriage and family therapist to, all the millions of podcast hosts myself, all the things that I've done, which is again why I say I love people for a living, because ultimately I'm just continuing to find new ways to do that.
For sure.
Right. And however that comes to me is how I'm showing up in the world. And in this season it's showing up as creative. I'm writing a lot. I've been working with cameras and just trying things out, just practicing, finding and honoring my creative voice. And so that's what this series is about, is me taking you along the journey. And then of course, sharing the wisdom and the nuggets that I learn along the way. There I go.
There you go. And we will share this with the
fire.
Yeah. So,
It's
and this is
perfect.
even this,
Dr. Joy.
yeah, even this is a lesson for me, right? Not being prepared with how to tell people where to find me. Like, you done just sat here and poured out, and the people are like, we want more. And you like, figure out how to find me wherever. Good luck. That's a lesson for me, right? That's a lesson
dope,
for me.
I'm starting my YouTube
Oh,
journey.
Rizzo, that's my cousin.
Oh,
Are
that's
you serious?
crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about, I love him.
Oh,
that's
man.
crazy.
Shout out to Rennie.
Ren. My boy Ren. Oh, shoot.
But I'm getting my YouTube journey right now, starting like live stream. I'm going to do my first live stream, I think, today.
This
really?
is my,
I'll probably
this is
call
my
you.
first time.
See if you want to get involved.
I'm gonna
Okay.
need.
Yeah,
this is me calling on support. I'm sorry to cut you
no,
off.
for sure.
But this is also me leaning into. I'm gonna be calling on support because I really appreciate how y'all are running this here, this setup,
Oh,
how you
what?
have the access to
Any
the community.
question,
I'll be asking him all
I'm
the
gonna need
questions.
some support
Oh,
with that for sure.
for sure.
Whatever you
Okay,
need. There's
thank
not
you. I
anything
appreciate that.
I will not help with. Any
Rios
question,
he's been
I
a
got you
huge
for
help.
sure.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you,
sure.
because you got the whole thing.
Yeah, and I do another one. I'll probably call you back for reality check.
Come
which
on,
is
why-
it's
call
it's
me
an
back.
Interview, conversation, open conversation.
Yeah.
But dope. But you're gonna go live today?
I think I'm going to go live today. Yeah, I got some things to talk about.
Okay.
What time? When?
Are you available later on today?
I'm available later on.
Let me see if I'm available. So
Yeah.
but when I get home, I'll know
Okay.
exactly. I'll call you. And then
I love it.
because I want to go live. I do my first. I did a test stream before just to see if I can do it. And I'm like, okay, I know how to go. I know how to send you the link and I'll do everything. So I don't want to wait till I buy all my things like mics and all this stuff. I'll just go buy.
That's literally when you look at episode 1.
Yeah.
It's literally that. I'm tired.
I'm just going.
It's literally. You see what it says. I got sick of my own shit.
And that's the best.
I got sick of my own shit.
I got sick of my
But see,
own.
that's the best step. Though.
Shit.
I love it.
The best
I
step
was so
is to
sick
just
of
go.
all the reasons why it
Yeah.
wasn't time. I wasn't
Making
ready. It
excuses.
I was
Yep.
sick of it.
Yeah,
Girl,
so just
use
go.
what you got. This is the lady with the
Use what-
olives. What
straight
you got?
up.
You got debt? What you got? You
Right.
got olives? Make olive oil. Keep making that
Right,
olive oil.
right.
Sell it till you out of debt.
Right.
And the
right.
thing
Stop
about-
sitting here waiting for something
Straight
else to
up.
come and use what
Exactly.
you got.
And what you two is so important because you guys have so much amazing things that you talk about, so much to share. It's like it don't matter what you're using because your voice is going to be heard. You know,
Correct.
Appreciate that.
It's just like
I'll be seeing people sitting in their car looking a mess saying whatever, and people are tuned in. And here I
Thousands of
am
views.
being like, no, my edges.
Yeah,
I need to
better
get
lights,
my
and I
hair
need better lights,
retwisted.
so I
I
need
gotta
whatever,
do-
whatever. I'm like, no, if y'all just,
Girl,
you don't just
shut
record and get people
up.
in there.
Because
So-
God said, I didn't say none of that. I said, tell them this.
Straight up.
And you said, but I got to tell them on this mic with this lighting at this time. I got to make sure that my edges. And I just said, tell them this.
exactly.
What are
I
you
gotta follow your
doing?
page too. Is Dr. Joy straight up?
Yeah,
Dr.
just no space. No space. Hey, Dr. Joy.
Yeah,
Okay.
just one word.
Hey, Dr.
Dope.
Joy. One word.
Yeah. I said, what?
I love
Oh,
this.
so that's why I got to tell the people. Hey, Dr. Joy, no spaces.
No spaces. Just,
Okay.
Hey,
See,
Dr.
that's
Joy.
what I got to tell the people. Thank you
That's
for
dope,
that.
man.
I love this. I'm
Thank
gonna
you
watch
for
and like all the videos. I'm gonna leave some
Yeah,
comments.
yeah, please. Oh, subscribe.
boom,
I
pop
really
right
do
up.
all
I'll
that.
subscribe right now,
Oh,
actually.
exciting.
Subscribe,
Thank
yeah.
you, y'all.
Everybody go to Hey, if you're in the
Yes,
chat,
go in
anybody
there.
in the chat, can you please go to Hey Dr. Joy's
Oh, that would
YouTube
make me
and
so
subscribe,
happy.
please.
And going live.
Copy. I'm gonna
Is
put
the
it.
thing.
That's
I'm gonna do that.
Please,
I'm
you
gonna.
guys,
I'm gonna go. This is
Go
gonna
in
be.
there. I got 74 people in here.
Yeah,
Can you guys please
That's-
I'm gonna talk
go to
about-
her page
we'll talk off camera,
and
but-
subscribe
We'll talk
to her
Yeah.
about
YouTube
this.
channel? It would do
'Cause,
much
yeah.
work for us. It's great for
'Cause,
us
yeah.
to support. Please
Yeah.
go to her. I left the link in there. Go in there and
Thank
subscribe
you.
right now, and tell her that we sent you over.
And thank
there.
you for all the people who hung out today. Because I know,
Yeah, we was on this thing
yeah,
for some
I'm-
hours.
I'm-
Because
glad
look,
y'all
this
hung out.
this was a different energy. Like this is
For sure.
This was our first for real.
full
like,
on, like,
doctor
Yeah.
school us, like teach us, and
Yeah.
we need that.
Good.
We need that. And you came and you provided.
Thank you
the
so
chat
much.
is enjoying. They were
Thank
engaging
you.
and we were making an impact the whole time. And so I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Yeah, me either. I can't wait to see But thank you so much. I want to thank you both for being open. I want to thank you both for being receptive. I want to thank you both for being my mirrors. I was learning. I'm always learning. And I learned so much, even as I was sharing the download that I was being given in the moment. So I appreciate you all. I saw the chat doing all the things, and I can't read it from here because I got 40 something eyes.
No, you
now.
and me. That's why I tell him read the chat.
But I can see some over there going down. I see muscles. I see y'all with the muscles. So I appreciate you.
I almost set the TV up.
Oh, word.
so that I
Okay.
can have
The
it.
big screen. Yeah.
But I was just worried that if I changed something, it might have just
Nah,
it was
right,
too
right,
last
right.
minute.
Right,
I was
for
like,
sure.
I don't want it to.
No, yeah,
But
make it. But
next time,
we gonna work it out.
Yeah,
Nah,
we'll
this
try.
is good.
I will have a TV right here so that you guys can see
Yeah.
the
Nah, this is dope.
But I enjoyed this. I
Yeah.
loved it. Please go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe right now, you guys.
Oh, thank you. Watch the latest video and leave. Tell me. Literally,
11
I want
people
feedback.
already.
Oh,
99.
thank you.
Yeah. 11
I
people
want
already.
feedback. I really want feedback. I
Fire.
really want feedback. Like, give me if something resonates with you, say that. If something you don't agree with, say that. If you're like, yeah, you know what, the lighting on this is not so great, say that. If you're like, oh, you a little too close to the camera, sis, say that. I
That's
need
why
all that.
Joy, trust me, we about to be talking.
Okay.
Because I'll be on him about that. Him and my man Curtis King.
Yeah.
I talk to both of them all the time about what I need to do, lighting, how you do this, and
yeah.
how do I show this to my screen and a bunch of stuff. So yeah,
I'm so
We
grateful.
winning, and we're going to win together. And
Yes, we
it's
are.
like, all right, we're building
Wow.
a community and
For sure.
just beautiful stuff going on. I'm just really happy. And yeah, man, like I said, I'll say it one more time. Go there, like and subscribe to Hey Dr. Joy. No space. I already left the link. I'll leave the link one more time.
Thank
But they
you.
already getting in there.
Oh, and let me plug my
subscribing.
page too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do
you
want to plug my page.
should.
Subscribe to my page now. If you haven't subscribed already, my YouTube page is Good Luck TV, GoodLucktv, all one word, Good Luck TV.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Look, I'm going to pull it up right now.
Okay. Subscribe now. We can start going live, start getting up with my peoples and just making dope content. I want to add my opinion to some of the things I hear going out here in music in the world and and I have a lot of super cool friends I want to talk to and just on live and have dope interviews. So I'm excited about what's to come from my platform myself. So yeah, subscribe now.
Hey, this is dope. We're promoting each other. Like we
I love this. This is really I love this
is
so
what we
much.
need to do, man. Like
Yeah,
this
this
is
is,
really it. So this
I
is
feel-
Good Lucks right here.
Deep gratitude for this moment.
Right here, this is Luck. And then
And
you
see the
guys
beginning,
go
see the
follow,
black and white
like,
ones?
subscribe.
Those I was doing in the beginning. I was like, I'm not gonna do no color, just straight up sitting in the living room,
okay.
sitting in my room.
I see what you're doing.
I see the thumbnail.
Okay.
I see the
I see
thumbnail.
what you're doing.
I'm starting making
Look.
thumbnails now. So I'm starting to do different things like that.
This. Sorry, I just screamed into the mic. Sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
I've probably been doing that all day. Now I'm thinking about it. We gonna stick a pin. We got so many pins.
Yeah, for sure.
To come back to.
sure.
103 subscribers. We're
Yes,
we're
y'all
number
pushed me
one.
over the mark. I was hoping. Thank you so
We hit the
much.
100. Let's go.
Thank you.
And please don't just like and subscribe. Share
Show
the content.
up,
Tell people
share,
about it.
yes.
And
They'll
about
be
the
good
stuff.
to you.
But,
Yeah.
Being consistent.
Yeah.
thank you, Joy.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
talking
you,
about,
Luck.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you guys. We're going to get out of here. We did 3 hours.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Please support, like, and subscribe, and do all the great
Thank
things.
y'all.
I know you guys are going to show up in amazing ways.
Yes.
All love. Go out there, be a blessing for somebody. God is